nobody's there, but I will take
it.
It
felt good. It felt good opening the door this morning. I actually drove in with the windows down. Broadcasting live from the 180 Pros studio. 180 Pros, is it time for your IT to hit a 180? Visit 180pros.com. We are talking workforce today. Susie Schowen heads that up. In fact, she had herself a big legislative session. Going to be joining us at 7:15. We are talking about the session with State Representative Joe Orgeron today as well. And we're getting you ready for Father's Day with the folks from Bally's and the Queen coming in for Foodie Friday, which is presented by the Louisiana Beef Industry Council. Oh, hey, also Patty G's in the house. Can't forget that. Let's get you started off, though, with top stories and trending. Oh, we're going to talk about this one later on this hour. St. Tammany Parish Sheriff Randy Smith was arrested Thursday on battery charges stemming from an incident at a Madisonville restaurant. He's accused of choking, punching, and kicking Robert Cuvion at Keith Young's Steakhouse on May 29th. Smith turned himself in on warrants issued to the Attorney General's office for 1 count of second-degree battery and 2 counts of disturbing the peace. Breck has installed 124 new state-of-the-art automated external defibrillators, AEDs, throughout many of its most visited parks and facilities. The devices will be placed in high-traffic areas, both inside and outside of Breck facilities, will be accessible to the public, even if they're not actively using park amenities at the time of said emergency. The final deadline to register to vote in the June 27th second-party primary and spring municipal general election is Saturday, June 6th. That is tomorrow. The deadline for citizens who have never registered to vote, as well as voters who would like to make changes to the registration, is what comes up tomorrow. Early voting for the June 27th election starts on Friday, June 12th. We've got another dead inmate out at Angola. This time it's 33-year-old Patrick Jones, who was serving a life sentence for armed robbery. He may have been killed by another inmate. West Feliciana Sheriff Brian Spillman said his office is investigating, but would not confirm whether it's a homicide investigation until after the autopsy is complete. In June of 2024, 5 members of the Metro Council at the time, Cleve Dunn, Carolyn Coleman, Darrell Hirsch, Shauna Banks, and Lamont Cole, along with 2 Baton Rouge residents, filed a lawsuit against the city parish over a map passed by the Metro Council in 2022, which they claim weakened black voting strength, violating the Constitution and the Voting Rights Act. Well, that suit is heating back up again. What you got, Breland?
This morning, the Senate passed a $70 billion immigration enforcement bill. And yes, it did include the $1.8 billion President Trump initially asked for to cover those convicted of storming the Capitol on January 6, 2021.
So, okay, first of all, they worked all through the night on this one. This came down at like 4 o'clock our time, when at 4 a.m. our time.
Wow.
Yeah, but secondly, Donald Trump backed off that $1.8 billion back on Tuesday. Said, I'm not pushing it anymore. So it's weird that they went after it anyway. Just $1.8 billion that was no longer asked for.
Okay.
Yeah,
that's different. Okay.
But hey, Homeland Security's funded. ICE is funded. I'll take it.
Also from the Senate, the Save America Act fell short last night with 4 Republicans crossing party lines to block it. What is going on?
What do you mean?
Well, because yesterday we saw with the House, was it yesterday? The week is running together now, but basically we want to get out of Strait of Hormuz. They're like, all right, whether Trump's
this has nothing
I
to
know,
do with that.
I know. But what I'm saying is that it's a sign of like growing independence in the Republican Party.
We're going to see that more and more, especially after midterms are over with. People are going to start distancing themselves from the president as he gets more and more lame duck. That's the natural course of events. What I want noted, though, big time, what I want noted is who were the 4 Republicans that crossed the line.
Yeah.
What?
It would no.
Do you know where I'm going with this?
No.
Okay. Who were the 4 Republicans that crossed the line? Happy to tell you. It was Susan Collins of Maine, Lisa Murkowski of Alaska, Mitch McConnell of Kentucky, and Tom Tillis from North Carolina.
Mitch McConnell.
That's yeah. But you know who's not in that list? The alleged rhino, Bill Cassidy. Our Senator Bill Cassidy.
Now I know where you're going.
He was catching flack all through the election about being, being a rhino, can't push to save America. He's a co-sponsor on the act. Like, his name was on the dadgum thing. So, yes, he was voting for it the entire time. Well, look for him to revolt and vote against. Nope. Said it before, say it again. He's going to vote his remainder of time there.
Huh.
A lot of times that's going to be Republican. Sometimes it's not. But a lot of times it is. So, that's where that's at.
Well, the food truck roundup is back at Perkins Road tonight at 6. There will be live music to go along with this selection of food trucks. Ooh, that's fun. I keep hearing about this, and I want to go.
Are food truck roundups still a hot thing? I mean, they were like super hot in like 06, 07, maybe through about 2012. Do we still do this where you overpay for a street taco and stand there and just breathe generator gas?
I'm going to say generator gas. I'm going to venture to say, yes, they are. Because if you notice on almost every street corner, especially near where we live, near Costco, kind of airline area, there's always these taco trucks hanging out. And there's always a line. I see a line every time I go. And then you have all these festivals and fairs that have these food trucks.
I guess we had a food truck craze in Baton Rouge for a hot minute where like we had, remember Taco de Paco? They were good. Curbside turned into
started as a food truck,
right? Like we had a really good run, but then it really started to fade, and they started asking the question, well, if you're so good, how come you can't moved into brick and mortar yet? But like I'm sure we still have some great food trucks. I don't know if the craze is still out there. But there's a second part to this that I want to know about. If you own a restaurant in Perkins Row, how pissed are you that they're bringing in other food?
I never thought about that.
If I'm Tommy Satanovich, if I'm with Drago's right now, I'm like, you're telling me you're actively bringing people in to dilute my business? If I'm Texas de Brazil, which I've got a great story about them.
Yeah, Bin 77.
Yeah.
California Pizza Kitchen. Yeah.
I'm like, you're actively bringing in trucks to dilute my business.
Ooh, and they do it multiple times a year. Am I correct? I want to say like 3 or 4 times a year.
I think you're right. I don't know. Like I said, the food truck craze isn't where it was.
I didn't even think about that.
Yeah. I'm paying rent in Perkins Row for a restaurant
rent too.
Oh, yeah.
And then you bring all these food trucks in.
So
interesting.
You know what? If you're going out to Perkins Row, swing by, get a dozen char grills over at Drago's before you go anywhere else.
Yeah, support your vendors who are already in the
right. I mean, I don't know. It just doesn't feel right.
No, it doesn't feel right. And then you got to think Cinemark too.
I mean,
I would say, no, because that's a different thing. Because if you're going there for a movie, you're going there for a movie. Right. It's mainly the restaurants.
And it'd be like if they brought out the library's bookmobile to post up in front of Barnes and Noble.
Right. Very true.
We're at 612 at Talk 107.3 FM, WBRP. Due up for our first break. Before we take that first break, want to remind you about the folks over at Mathern's. You know what? Let me do this real quick because I tell you every day about the Mathern's Rewards app, and it's awesome. And you earn cash towards more groceries every time you shop. And I use it every time I'm working over at LSU. I swing by the Mathern's on campus, and I take great advantage of it. And I've cashed out some of the money before, and I got to tell you, it's very applicable to be sure. But starting today, I believe, is their first ever 4-day sale. If you hit up Mathern's, do the Mathern's Market at Kenilworth Facebook page, and you get a good look at all the deals they've got going on. I said this scrolled across my Facebook page last night, so I wanted to hit it up. But fantastic sale going on. Everything from different cuts of meat to catfish nuggets to marked down LaCroix to Supreme Rice. You name it, they've got you a great deal on it. 4-day sale going on today through June 8th at the Mathern's at Kenilworth. Oh.
Joe Till's in here early this morning.
Good. What are the titles of the three cuts?
Number 3, NIL has become pay for play. Number 6, no structure to eligibility.
And
number 8 officially endorses Protect College Sports.
Okay.
Renee has a point. If you are in a mood for a sit-down dinner, I don't think a food truck is your competition. I mean, I get that, but I'll be pissed still.
If you're in the mood to go to Perkins Road to walk around and see what's going on, take in a movie, like it's just that. I don't know. I would be pissed. 617 Talk 107.3 FM WBRP mornings with Brian Haldane rolling right along. It is sports time. Yesterday we missed out on this, so I wanted to touch back on it today. Former Alabama, former LSU head coach Nick Saban spent some time in front of the U.S. Senate this week. The U.S. Senate is working on the Protect College Sports Act, and well, who better to call upon to get some testimony than Nick Saban? While in favor of NIL overall, Saban did say that the way we have NIL set up right now, it has basically become a pay for play scenario.
I think name, image, and likeness has become pay for play. You know, I said 5 or 6 years ago when a school that I'm not going to mention who didn't do anything wrong had what is called a collective to be able to pay players and disguise it as marketing opportunities. When a school did that, the first school that did it, I said, is this what we want college football to become? And I got really criticized for that. But it has become that. It's become pay for play. And we've also extended the opportunities now to funnel money from operations, which come to the universities as marketing opportunities from the university standpoint, to funnel that money out of operations into paying players. So now if you take that $20 million or whatever it is, you could fund 5 or 6 Olympic and women's sports.
He went on to, we're going to skip the next one. He went on to talk about how there's a lack of structure when it comes to eligibility. The transfer portal is a whole other thing. The collectives basically became pay for play seemingly overnight. But at the end of the day, does Nick Saban support the Protect College Sports Act? Cut 8.
Education-based model that compensates athletes fairly, protects athletes properly, and still preserves development, competition, opportunity, and tradition. That is what this bill is trying to do. It isn't perfect, and I'm sure many, many adjustments need to be made, and I think there's a lot of people who can add to that. But this is a serious bipartisan effort to bring order to a system that is badly needs fixing. It protects athletes, it protects opportunity, it protects competitive balance. It protects the sports that do not always generate revenue, but still matter. It gives college athletes a chance to move forward with rules that are clear, national, and enforceable. For these reasons, I support the Protect College Sports Act and urge Congress to act.
It's 6:20. Here's the Fox Business Report. Joe's a perfect example of people trying to rewrite history. Nobody stormed anything. Oh, okay. Oh, a moron. Morning, Alan.
Good morning, Alan.
Oh, so Cade calls 5:15, no answer. Cade calls again 5:30, no answer. So Cade starts coming down to the station. And on his way to the station, he says, it's really, really odd that Carl wouldn't answer his phone at all. Am I off? Find Carl. Probably. No. That's not a bad start to your morning on the roads this morning, unless you are on I-12. If you're on I-12, you're going to find a little bit of congestion. Where is this here? Oh, by O'Neill. That's where, from the Amite River Bridge up to O'Neill, you're going to find some slowdowns on I-12 westbound. I-10 westbound's always looking good at about this time of the morning. I-10 eastbound coming back across from West Baton Rouge looks great. If I'm zooming out, getting outside the city, I'm not seeing anything on 12 or 10 by New Orleans or the North Shore, and scrolling back to Lafayette. So your drive throughout town and getting out of town looks good this morning. On your surface streets, even better. There are no traffic incidents to report. That's your look at traffic from the Talk 107.3 Traffic Center. .624 Talk 107.3 FM WBRP. Mornings with Brian Haldane rolling right along. One of the bills that just passed and got signed through the legislative session, I'm kind of torn on with this one, but I definitely see where they're going. It's going to hopefully curtail weed on campus. We'll get into that in just a quick second. Do need to remind you about the folks over at ExxonMobil. I don't need to remind you about ExxonMobil. ExxonMobil's been in our backyard for 115 years, employing Baton Rougeans for over 115 years, creating products and services that the world relies on for over 115 years. Now they're looking to the next chapter. Where does that next chapter take us? Well, first of all, wherever it takes us, it's going to take us there safely and effectively, the way ExxonMobil has always handled business. But that next chapter doesn't involve carbon capture and sequestration. So as Louisiana's energy economy continues to evolve to meet domestic and global demand, ExxonMobil is investing in technologies like carbon capture and storage to help reduce emissions, strengthen industry, and bring new economic opportunities to communities across Louisiana. They're not getting away from oil and gas. That's been the bread and butter. That's what supported us this entire time. But because energy doesn't just power today, it's bringing us into tomorrow. We need to learn what's next. And to do that, you want to visit aboutlaccs.com, aboutlaccs.com. One of the many bills that made its way through the legislative process this past session was by Gabe Ferment, who, good friend of the show. We love Gabe. Governor Landry signed off on this bill the other day. It's going to increase penalties for marijuana use on college campuses and near schools. Now, while the new law affects all school zones across the state, Gabe Ferment, representative from Pollock, says it specifically targets creating a more family-friendly environment at on-campus tailgates on game days.
The intent of this bill is to protect children, create an environment that's conducive to families enjoying themselves and having a good time.
This, no doubt, goes back to the problems that LSU had on campus last season. When you saw the roving gangs of people, I use the word gang, when you see roving groups of people on campus who have no intent on going to the game, they're not there to attend the game. They're not even really there to tailgate. They're there for when everyone else goes into the game. Now they're punching in car windows. That's when the shootings happen. Like, all the stuff you saw go wrong on campus happened with these groups that had no intent of going to the game. But what they did have intent of doing, and like the Fruit Loops bird, follow your nose, what they did have intent of doing is smoking a lot of weed all day long. And it was prevalent. Now, to be sure, they're not the only ones on campus smoking weed. And to be sure, there's a lot of recreational marijuana use. I'm not as hardline on marijuana as a lot of my Republican friends are. I'm just not. I see medicinally, I see the benefits of it. Recreationally, I see that there's positives and not as many negatives as we might have thought. There's been a long time anti-marijuana campaign out there. I'm not as hardline of a stance on marijuana as most folks, but I do recognize what Representative Furman recognizes is you can't separate the two in something like this. So those who are caught smoking marijuana in school zones, which, by the way, any substance that would alter the mind in any way at all in a school zone should definitely be punished. Marijuana, weed, I mean, you give me NyQuil in a school zone. I don't care. It's so marijuana in school zones will now face up to a year in jail and a $1,000 fine. Furman says smoking marijuana within the 2,000 feet of campuses and schools is already, I mean, it's already illegal here.
It strengthens enforcement. It gives law enforcement the opportunity to make arrests based on visible observance of illegal behavior, and it enhances the penalties.
Opponents of the bill argue it does nothing to address alcohol use on campus. Well, no, it's not going to have to address alcohol use on campus because this is a completely separate thing going on. Underage alcohol abuse is definitely a thing for sure. But okay, then you pick up that bill and run with it. That's not what Representative Furman decided to pick up and run with. So Furman's answer to that question about the alcohol abuse, specifically by underage, well, the answer about alcohol overall is alcohol consumption overall is not illegal.
I really don't think the alcohol conversation is relevant because we're not creating any new crimes. We're just making it easier to enforce.
Well, it doesn't matter if it's relevant or not. If you want to do that, fine. Knock yourself out. Go write your own bill. Gabe Furman wrote a bill. Bill got passed. Bill got signed. I'm going to be able to walk and chew gum, right? Realize that the two things are mutually exclusive. Hey, this year we're celebrating America's 250th birthday, and we want you to be a part of it. Open the Talk 1073 app powered by Lake Urgent Care. Click the microphone icon and send us a voicemail answering one simple question. What does America mean to you? Your story could inspire others and be featured on air as we honor this historic milestone together. And if I'm not mistaken, I think we might be putting together some prize packs. You don't even know about this yet.
I don't. I don't.
We might be putting together some prize packs for those that make it on air.
Oh,
yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Nothing major just yet, but we're working on it. Keep it short, about 15, 20 seconds. Give us your name and where you're from. Send us your audio today and let your voice be a part of the 250th celebration. Here's news. Diabetes, maybe? I don't know. I know. So, yeah, Cade texted me last night. call or?
Great, man. He's like, you just say that everything that alters the mind. I wouldn't even go as far as Red Bull.
Red Bull makes you sharper. Way sharp. As long as he's listening every day.
Your biggest haters are your biggest fans, right?
Oh, I know.
Like,
They're there, reliable. Every day, all day. Look, we all learned about this while watching the movie Private Parts with Howard Stern. When they were going over his numbers, Howard Stern listeners listen on average for 45 minutes a day. Howard Stern haters listen for an hour and 15.
Byron, I'm always steering clear of the woman that does their entire morning makeup routine in a rearview mirror.
Bro, that's true.
So look, this is the best I can do. But,
Oh, yeah.
My name is John Kelly.
it'll be
That's perfect.
okay.
All right. And you got them in order?
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm gonna get them up in order.
And yeah, I wanted to do the ones with Margaret, but it just,
So we're probably gonna skip that one. Okay.
no, I didn't send you anyone with Margaret, did I?
Yeah, you sent me the next one. He introduces his.
Yeah, okay, yeah. All right.
Jennifer, it amazes me. All the people smoking while driving on the way to work, the secondhand smoke, KTTV Wolves is real. Is in the real, she says. Is in, yeah. Oh Lord, we're in a John Fleming ad that we're going.
.636 Talk 107.3 FM WBRP mornings with Brian Haldane rolling right along. We're gonna have some fun in just a minute. We're gonna have some fun with TikTok in just a quick minute. But first of all, I want to go back to that last segment real quick and shout out to our good buddy John Davis, who those who know him know he knows a thing or two about the marijuana industry. This is what he does for a living. But he wanted to clarify that Representative Furman did say on the record he does not apply the lawful medical marijuana patients, caregivers, or state licensed operators to his bill. The bill is directed at illegal or criminal activity. Also, and just of note, regardless of the legality or illegality, be respectful of those around you, for crying out loud. Whether you're talking about, on campus or picking a different route to get from point A to point B, you want to be considerate of those around. You want to consider those around you when you're smoking literally anything in public, whether it's marijuana or a big old Cuban stinky. Like, anyway, shout out John. Always appreciate him. Okay. We have, and we're roughly midway through the year 2026. We have on our hands, it's been a heavy couple weeks. We have on our hands, in midway through 2026, the must-see viewing of the year. Y'all,
I'm so ready for this.
Senator John Kennedy is on TikTok, and it is everything you would hope it would be. We're going to take this segment here to walk you through a few of his contributions, a little bit of his content on TikTok, a platform that not too long ago was debated in Congress as to whether or not China was bad. And yet now here we are with our own Senator John Kennedy. Now, we all know he's a soundbite monster, right? We know if we see John Kennedy on TikTok, he's going to say things like, AOC is the reason that there's instructions on a shampoo bottle. Like, we all know the wit and wisdom of John Kennedy, which needs to be printed in a book for all eternity. We know that. But what happens if you just give him a camera free form? What happens then? If you're watching us on Facebook Live, you'll see it over my shoulder. Some of it's visual, almost all of it's audio. Almost all of it makes sense, translates to audio only. But we're going to run through a couple of John Kennedy's early entries to the TikTok world. Let's start with his very first one, Breland.
My name's John Kennedy. This is my first TikTok video. You call it TikTok, right? TikTok, Tic-Tac, TikTok, whatever you want to call it. I've seen videos of where other people have recorded stuff I've said on TikTok. If you believe that, I'm not saying you're the dumbest person in the world, but you better hope the dumbest person in the world doesn't die. Look, you just got to try harder not to suck. So now I have a TikTok account. I just want to use it to tell you a little bit about me to the extent that you care, and tell you a little bit about what it's like to be a United States Senator.
So that was his first installment, and he's put up a handful of others since then. We're going to run through a couple of quick choice selections here. Most of this is going to be without commentary because really, how do you follow John Kennedy on commentary? Give me another one, Breland.
Hey guys, John Kennedy here. I've got somebody I would like you to meet. This is Margaret. Margaret is my elliptical trainer. I named Margaret after Margaret Thatcher because both kick butt and take names. As you can see, Margaret, my elliptical trainer, is out here under my carport in Louisiana for three reasons. Number one, Margaret is too heavy to get in the house. Number two, Becky won't let me bring Margaret in the house. And number three, I like to break a good sweat. I keep Margaret under the carport where I can do it, particularly in the summer. After Margaret kicks my butt, I lift weights and there's Margaret in the background. I wanted you to meet Margaret. I just wanted you to see how I spend some of my time when I'm not working in the United States Senate. You may not be impressed by Margaret, but I love Margaret. I wanted you to meet Margaret. Thanks for listening. My work here is done, and I can see myself out.
Is this not the most brilliant, oversimplified form of entertainment there is on the planet? And by the way, what you were missing, if you're listening on the radio, what you were missing in the visual is he's wearing a sweatband and workout clothes, but like picture John Kennedy's sweatband across his forehead. Like Cobra Kai style, like he just this mid-80s, just outside under his carport, raining in the background in Madisonville, freaking Louisiana. So brilliant.
The part where he goes, she was too heavy to get inside.
Well, plus his wife wouldn't let Margaret inside anyway. Everything about it is just so simple and so pure and so beautiful and so hilarious. He's not doing anything. There's no great writing here. There's no great cinematography. There's no post-production involved. It's just our man, John Kennedy, and his phone and his elliptical and his lunch.
John Kennedy here, folks. I'm still in Madisonville, so I thought I would crank out one more video per my staff's instructions. Here's what I eat a lot for lunch. This is my wife's world famous, I don't know if it's world famous, but it's really good. Chicken salad that she makes from scratch, and I just slap it between two pieces of bread and chow down. It's great. I mean, this chicken salad is better than sex. Not really, but you get the point. I really like Becky's chicken salad. Again, I don't have the slightest idea why you give a damn, but here it is. Chicken salad a la Becky. Peace out.
Peace out.
It's better than sex.
And it's just not really, which
Not really.
yeah, you better plug that back in on the back end because you're talking about the woman that makes the chicken salad at that point. This is a U.S. senator, y'all, 1 of 100. This is a member of the most august body in the land, in the world. Like, this is this is why I love Louisiana so much. You're not getting that from any other state. You're just not. You're not getting that from anywhere else on the planet. So good. Anyway, if you're not on TikTok, I believe he's posting them up on Reels as well. I love the fact that he's embraced this. I love the fact that he blames it on his staff. I love everything about it. I love the content. I love how just his natural sense of humor comes through. And like he said, he's just, I don't know why you would give a damn, but there's a point to this, and we're going to get to that in a minute. But let's have a little more fun before we get to the point. Give me one more.
Hey guys, John Kennedy here. I'm in Madisonville. I go back to La La Land, Washington, D.C. on Monday. This is a video, I guess, of one of the things I do when I'm in Madisonville. This is my kitchen table. Unless you've been homeschooled by a day drinker, you can see that I don't use it as a kitchen table. This is where I work sometimes when I'm home. A lot of the papers are turned over because I don't know who's watching this video, and some of you I trust like a rest stop bathroom. But anyway, the point is that a lot of my colleagues in the United States Senate, they're some of the smartest people on the planet. If you don't believe me, just ask them. But I'm not like that. I have to grind it out. I have to work harder than an ugly stripper to understand the issues and what I'm voting on. I'd say I read anywhere from, 25 to 35 hours a week. So this is part of where I do it. There's a book I'm reading, or I haven't started yet, called The Sand Pebbles. My brother sent it to me. This is a shot of some fly fishing poppers that are ordered from Amazon, but the eyelets are not big enough, so I'm going to return those. I don't know, that's about it, I guess. Peace out.
Peace out.
Oh. He has to work harder than an ugly stripper. I mean, every ounce of it is brilliant. It's so inane and it's nothing. But remember, the greatest sitcom in the history of sitcoms was a show about nothing. Through his character, the character that he is, through his own personality, they're compelling and entertaining. But more importantly than that, and this is something I strive for, like I look for every opportunity I get, is that we need to remember at some point that we're a government of the people, by the people, and for the people. Somewhere along the way, we've forgotten that the 435 congressmen and women and the 100 senators, they are the people, just like you and me. So seeing John Kennedy eating a chicken salad sandwich, or making a chicken salad sandwich, by the way, bro didn't even have a plate. The bread was
He was just eating out
the
the bowl.
bread was on the counter. The bread was on the counter, not on a plate. Just, we forget that from time to time. And I love that level of connectivity, that level of connection to take you inside John Kennedy's house in Madisonville, Louisiana, which, by the way, like, how many people around the world follow John Kennedy because they see him on Fox News and they follow what he does in the Senate? And yet now they have a firsthand view into Madisonville, of all places. I love it. And you can't get it anywhere else. So good. We're coming up on 647 to Talk 107.3 FM. We need a quick break when we come back. Oh, speaking of Madisonville, that's in St. Tammany Parish, and some stuff went down. We'll cover that next. He's built for it. So I don't know, is he setting up for his next career? He's going to be 76 when he's up for re-election. I don't know. Are you running again if you're John Kennedy, or are you setting up for what you're going to do next? And I just, he could just have monetized social media and earn enough for 2 generations of people. Yo.
Oh my word. And he has 500,000 followers already. I love it.
Yeah.
I love it. I didn't even know he joined TikTok. So last night when you sent me all that.
Oh, my wife and I were watching him just back and forth, like trading John Kennedy's TikToks. And I'm like, so I haven't talked to him in years. I haven't had him on the show in years. I need to. Yeah. Well, yeah. No. We're totally good. But I owe him so much because when I first started in news, like reporting news for WJBO, he was state treasurer. And I would call and get him on the phone, and I wouldn't even interview him. I probably shouldn't say this out loud. He would just feed me. And he's just genuinely one of the nicest people out there. I know. You don't get good ones like that very often. Y'all, was that worth taking a little side path right there? I know that's not hard-hitting news, and I'm supposed to be news guy, but like, was that worth it? I thought it was worth it. I mean, it's a Friday. We can have a little fun. It's cool outside.
Renee, I turned him off for just a second, but you heard him again. But I'll put you back on probably 30 seconds ago.
652 Talk 107.3 FM WBRP. Mornings with Brian Haldane rolling right along. What you think? Worth it? Getting away from news for just a quick second to talk about a senator?
I needed that.
So did I. It was. I will stand by that. That was definitely worth it. Definitely worth the ride. By the way, the chat seems to agree over on Facebook. We are live on Facebook every single day, courtesy of the folks over at Lake Urgent Care. Byron says it's kind of like Mr. Rogers after drinking a 13-pack of beer. Troy says he's made for this. Renee says he's hilarious. I can't get enough. I want more. But the thing is, what I love about it the most is it's organic. It's just him being him. We got a good one. Sometimes it's important to step away from the political rivalries and the R's versus D's and the anger and the vitriol and just say, we got a good one. That's where I'm at on that. All right, got to remind you about the folks over at the Baton Rouge Metro Airport. FlyBTR.com is the website, the home base, if you will. FlyBTR.com. If you are booking your family's travel plans for the summer, give FlyBTR.com a look, if you would, and take into account the whole cost. And when I say the whole cost, I don't just mean the ticket. I mean all of it. Driving all the way down to New Orleans versus flying out of your own backyard. Parking down in New Orleans versus literally having the opportunity to Uber to the airport. Or if you're parking up here, it's cheaper here as well. The TSA experience factors into that too. And when you get home, the satisfaction of landing in Baton Rouge and knowing you're going to be home in just a minute, as opposed to knowing you've got an hour on the interstate. And it's not just there for the recreational end. Of course, we know and love Baton Rouge Metro Airport for the business end. For example, if you've got business in our nation's capital, Washington, D.C., there's a daily flight, leaves at 7 a.m., comes back home same night, get your business done same day. Sleep in your own bed. FlyBTR.com. So while checking in St. Tammany Parish with our Senator John Kennedy, let's stay in St. Tammany Parish for our next segment, where the sheriff has been arrested. What? From our news partners at the Louisiana Radio Network, the sheriff of St. Tammany Parish is discovering what it's like on the other side of the law. Sheriff Randy Smith is arrested on 3 charges, including second-degree battery in connection with an attack at a Madisonville restaurant late last month. Investigators say while in the bar area at Keith Young's Steakhouse, Randy Smith went up to 59-year-old Bobby Couvion and, without provocation, that's not entirely true, without provocation, attacked him. Couvion told police Smith reeked of alcohol, and Metropolitan Crime Commission President Rafael Goyeneche says Smith's conduct would corroborate that. Cut 4.
That's not the normal conduct of Sheriff Smith. He's been in office for at least 3 terms.
Yes, but he's also the second St. Tammany sheriff in a row to be arrested. I grew up down there, y'all. I love it for all of its flaws. It is heaven on earth, and at the same time, it is an absolute mess. Couvion has been one of Sheriff Smith's harshest critics. When I say it was without provocation, take into account a greater scene, not just what was going on there that night, but what has been going on in the past, where Couvion's been taking the sheriff to task on any number of different issues, some of them personal. Goyeneche says there's no excuse, though. That's no excuse for Smith to do what he allegedly did, and getting out of this is going to be very, very hard for Smith to do. Cut 5.
This is a restaurant, and there are cameras in the restaurant. So not only were there eyewitnesses, there's going to be digital video footage of what occurred.
Smith's bond was set at $10,000. For now, he remains on the job. Goyeneche says he will remain on the job until either his term expires or he's proven guilty in a court of law, whichever one of those two things comes first.
Under Louisiana law, to trigger automatic suspension or removal from office of an elected official requires a conviction for a felony.
Now, Smith has put out a statement in which he apologized to his family, the diners and staff at the restaurant, and the people of St. Tammany Parish. He also referenced what he called 10 years of personal attacks against him and his family by a man hiding behind a computer screen, presumably referring to Couvion. Smith said he will address his actions through the legal process and will continue serving the people of St. Tammany Parish in the meantime. Now, I have seen a lot of unconfirmed reports about what went down that night. By the way, if you're not familiar with Keith Young's Steakhouse, Madisonville's not that big. And when I say not that big, I mean very, very, very small. But it's up Highway 21 a little ways from the river. Most people who know Madisonville just know the riverfront, right? Just know the riverfront. And you go up Highway 21 a little bit, and you'll find Keith Young's Steakhouse away from what you would call the 4 blocks that would be Madisonville proper. But I would love to tell you this is something new. Not about Smith, but about the area. But having grown up down there, that place has been the Wild Wild West forever. The only thing new is that it would be reported on and the arrest being made. Like that's the new part of this, is actually going through the legal process. Like I said, I've seen a lot of unconfirmed reports about how much Smith was drinking. We're not going to get into all that. A lot. We're not going to get into all that. But when you want to really have fun and get if you want House of Cards to meet the Andy Griffith Show, that's St. Tammany Parish. That's the place that I proudly call home. That's where I grew up. That's where politics is at its best and worst all at the same time. I don't know that I could pull 2 better shows to reference and cross over than House of Cards meets the Andy Griffith Show. So as this story plays itself out, expect that in full. And then pull up a bar stool at Toogie's to tie one on. I don't think that place exists anymore. 4 people got that reference total. One of them's me. We got news coming up in just a little bit. Hour 2's coming your way after that. We're going to talk with Susie Schowen from Louisiana Works. Big workforce session just got done within the regular legislative session. A lot of workforce bills made their way through the process. We'll talk with Secretary Schowen about that. Before we break, though, the Rad Dad contest is officially back. Citizens Bank and Trust brings you Dad's favorite gifts ever. A Weber Traveler Grill plus accessories thanks to Goodwood Hardware, a steak dinner from Chris's Specialty Foods, and a Manly Bayou bundle from Hawk Soap, all just for showing us your Rad Dad doing dad things. Upload dad pics now to talk1073.com, and happy Father's Day. Back-to-back St. Tammany Parish stories, y'all. Never thought I'd see that day. Go let Susie in the building.
That's all good. I can sit here. Oh, hello, good morning. Good morning. How are you? I'm doing good.
Anything? Coffee, water?
I think I'm good. Thank you, though.
7:05. Talk 107.3 FM, WBRP. Mornings with Brian Haldane, rolling right along. Hour 2 coming your way right now. Brian here with you. Bree Lynn producing. Starting off the 7 o'clock hour at 69 degrees in downtown Baton Rouge. We broadcast live from the 180 Pros studio. 180 Pros, not your IT provider, your IT partner. We got a busy hour this hour for you. It was a big workforce session in the legislative session. And Louisiana Work Secretary Susie Schowen is going to join us in our next segment. Also, while we're talking business, we got Patty G coming in at 7:35. Right now, though, you know how we do. We start off with top stories and trending. Committee of the Whole is what they were calling it. East Baton Rouge School Board hosting a public hearing last night on the proposed budget, giving teachers a pay raise. We had Superintendent Lamont Cole on with us yesterday talking about it. Of course, you're not going to make everyone 100% happy, but there was a lot of support from teachers, support staff, even bus operators packing the school board's office for the meeting. One attendee saying the raise has been a long time coming. If you wanted the details of what the proposed pay raise is, like I said, we had Superintendent Cole on yesterday. That audio is available on demand at talk1073.com. St. Tammany Parish Sheriff Randy Smith, we talked about this in our last segment, was arrested Thursday on battery charges stemming from an incident at a Madisonville restaurant. He's accused of choking, punching, and kicking Robert Cuvion at Keith Young Steakhouse back on May 29th. Smith turned himself in on warrants issued by the Attorney General's office for 1 count of second-degree battery and 2 counts of disturbing the peace. Breck has installed 124 new state-of-the-art AEDs, automated external defibrillators, throughout many of the most visited parks and facilities. The devices will be placed in high-traffic areas, both inside and outside of Breck's facilities. They will be accessible to the public, even if they're not actively using park amenities at the time of an emergency. The final deadline to register to vote in the June 27th second party primary and spring municipal general election is Saturday, June 6th. Fast forward to June 12th. That's where early voting begins. We've got another dead inmate in Angola. This time it's 33-year-old Patrick Jones, who was serving a life sentence for armed robbery. He may have been killed by another inmate. West Feliciana Sheriff Brian Spillman said his office is investigating, but would not confirm whether or not it's a homicide investigation until after the autopsy is complete. What you got, Breland?
Well, this morning, the Senate passed a $70 billion immigration enforcement bill. And yes, it did include the $1.8 billion President Trump initially asked for to cover those convicted of storming the Capitol on January 6, 2021.
So initially asked for and then pulled back on Tuesday. Like that's the part that I find interesting about that was on Tuesday. I remember I got the news alert in the 4 o'clock hour because I was doing a radio hit in New Orleans. And we were actually talking about the $1.8 billion at the time that the news alert came across my phone. So it kind of surprises me that they persisted to go after it when the president called off the dogs.
And it almost makes me wonder, obviously there are things we don't know, but it's interesting they still push forward with it anyways, huh? Also from the Senate, the Save America Act fell short last night with 4 Republicans crossing party lines to block it.
Yeah. I went off on the last hour. I'm not doing it again. It is important to note that while Senator Bill Cassidy caught a lot of flack for being a quote rhino during the primary election, of the 4 Republicans who jumped ship, he was not one of them. In fact, quite the opposite. He's a co-sponsor of the bill.
Interesting. The food truck roundup is back at Perkins Road tonight at 6. There will be live music to go along with the selection of food trucks.
Yeah.
You brought up a very good point.
And I'll bring it up again. I got to know how those who pay exorbitant rent to own restaurants in Perkins Row feel about Perkins Row actively bringing in people to dilute their business. If I own, let's say, Drago's, do I really want, do I want some people who are just, hey, what are you doing tonight? Let's go out to Perkins Row, see what's happening. Okay, well, if there's a bunch of food trucks out there, you have more opportunity to not bring somebody into your establishment. If you're going out to let's go catch a movie and then we'll catch dinner on the back end or on the front end, either way, you have diluted opportunity for business. It just, I don't know. It feels weird to me. If I'm Drago's, if I'm Genya, if I'm Texas Daybreak, you ever been in Genya?
Oh, it's so good.
Love me some Genya. If you're Texas
the
Daybreak,
chicken ramen. Yep.
Yeah. Well, we do the pork. We do the pork. Yeah, I don't do the chicken. Yeah.
So Renee brought up a good point. She was saying, if you know you want to go to a sit-down restaurant, if you know that, you're not going to hit up the food truck. But I kind of disagree because once I get out there and I'm walking around and I got 3 littles who run in 80 million directions, I could have been adamant I'm going to Drago's and I'm having oysters. But if there's a taco truck, I'm like, you know what? Changing my mind.
So, yeah, but I'm more of the point of the people who how many people are going to go catch a movie and don't have their dinner plans definite yet?
Right.
I mean, you walk out the movie and it's now we'll just go find a spot because we're in Perkins Row and there's multiple restaurants. Oh, wait, no, screw the restaurants. There's a truck.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yep.
Oh. We're at 7:11 at Talk 107.3 FM WBRP. Before we take our first break of the hour, I want to remind you about the folks over at Neurojust, Neurojust. That's how you spell Neurojust. I spell it out every day, so you'll go to neurojust.com. If you or someone in your life is battling with anxiety or depression, then listen up. There's that depression, there's that hopelessness, that loneliness, that isolation that you feel. The world has turned its back on you. You get irritable, you get apathetic, you just get in this brain fog. And if other forms of treatment haven't really taken, Neurojust is here with something called TMS therapy, transcranial magnetic stimulation, FDA approved, non-invasive, 85% response rate. I could go on, but to make it the short version, it's like physical therapy for your brain. If you want to learn more, give them a call, 225-330-7382, 225-330-7382. They'll do everything under the sun to make sure your insurance is picking up the tab for this. And just if you want to learn more, visit neurojust.com. Come on over.
Byron, I would think they would. I just don't know.
Well,
I was asking, do food trucks get inspected like brick and mortar restaurants?
I don't know.
Because how would they be able to serve food?
756-2644. Gulf Coast Office Products, your workplace efficiency lifeline.
So do you get downtime now?
Now we're starting the actual hard part, which is implementing everything.
I would imagine.
We bit off a lot in this session. So,
There was a lot.
yeah, there's a lot. But very excited.
Oh, yeah.
We're really excited.
How are you this morning?
I'm good.
Is it too hot in here for you?
No,
Because
I'm fine.
it's been cold this week, so I have my little heater.
Our AC went out yesterday in
Mine
the
went out
building.
Friday
Oh
in
my
my house.
God. Oh,
It got up to 96, like over the weekend when we had that heat wave.
I was in Boston a couple of weeks ago, and you know they don't have AC. Oh,
No.
I was,
Really?
yes.
A lot of them, they use window units and all that. If
They didn't
have
even
them.
have those. I was in the dorms at my college. It was like an event out
Oh,
there.
wow.
You know?
What college?
Wellesley.
Really?
Yes.
Very
Oh.
714 Talk 1073 FM, WBRP, mornings with Brian Haldane, rolling right along. We're continuing to unpack the legislative session that was. In fact, Breland, is the flipper up there at Talk 1073? You know,
The flipper for
unpacking the legislative session. Okay.
Yeah, the capital
So-
coming out of the suitcase.
Yes, what we try to cover the session as best we can as it's rolling along. But once it's done, going back to get the post-mortem on the session is as important as covering what's happening. So what we've done is we've got, if you go to talk1073.com, we've got on the main rotating flippers right there, unpacking the legislative session. So all the content we do about the session that was will be funneled right there. If there's anything you missed, anything you're interested in, you can find it right there. For example, Breland's about to hit record for this segment that's just going to go up there after we're done. Secretary of Louisiana Works, Susie Schowen, is with us. How are you?
I'm doing really well.
You were very quickly turned into the rock star of this session. I mean, I don't know, how did that come about to where everybody decided we're all working on workforce at the same time?
You know, it's an interesting question, and there were conversations about it before the session, but I think all the credit and blame fundamentally goes to Susan Bourgeois,
Okay.
because as we've seen the kind of economic investment that's happening in our state,
Mhm.
everybody starts recognizing what comes next
Yeah.
is making sure we deliver on it, and that's
Well,
workforce.
she's been hunting.
Yes,
She's been hunting and killing
she's been
and bringing it
landing
home.
big
So,
game.
yeah,
Yep.
big game hunting. Now we got to
Yep.
do something with the game. So
Exactly.
that becomes the natural next step is where is our workforce right now? So before we get into the individual bills, where is our workforce right now? Are we equipped to take on everything that she's brought home?
So I will start by saying that we very recently just hit an all-time employment high in Louisiana.
Mhm.
So we now have more people working than we ever have before in the history of Louisiana, which I think is just really exciting.
Yes.
But we still have a lot of people sitting on the sidelines. Our labor force participation rate, our work participation rate is not at all where we need it to be. And we have the opportunity to bring tens of thousands of our own people who are adults, working age, back into the workforce or into the workforce for the first time. And that's going to be a big part of the solution.
How much of that is controllable? How much of that can you actually, because I mean, is it a matter of training? Is it a matter of motivation? Is it a matter of, because our workforce participation rate has traditionally been
Yes.
way, way lower than the rest of the nation's.
You're exactly right about that. The real opportunity that I'm excited about is we actually do have quite a few people that we speak to because they're receiving public benefits
Mhm.
who want to work and could be working, but there is some sort of barrier. So it's reducing those barriers that's going to get us there. These are things like the skills mismatch. You just referred to that, but things like access to childcare and transportation are
Mhm.
really significant. And we've got a lot of people with disabilities that can be incredibly productive members of the workforce and they want that
Interesting.
pride.
I
We
didn't
just
think of
need
that
to
sector.
be absolutely. We have Louisiana Rehabilitation Services under our roof. They're amazing,
Mhm.
amazing. But we did get some additional funding for them in this session.
So how much of this funnels back into what the buzzword or buzz term was last year with One Door?
Absolutely. That is exactly what I'm talking about. And delivering on the promise of One Door requires some restructuring of the statewide federally funded workforce system. And that's part of what happened in this session.
Mhm.
But those two things absolutely fit together. And that's what that's about.
Okay, we'll get back around to this when we talk about like moving forward, but
Yep.
let's dive into the session a little bit. What were a few of your highlights?
So I'm going to start with a trio of bills. Dennis Bamberg, Adam Bass, and Stephanie Baralt, a lot of B's in there, brought us some really terrific legislation. And jointly, those three bills create what we're calling Louisiana Talent Works. And some folks might know we started off calling it Louisiana Talent Accelerator. It turns out there's a lot of things out there with similar names that might lead to a little confusion. So we're going to be calling it Louisiana Talent Works to go with our new agency name. Louisiana Talent Works is an employer-facing unit within LA Works. That's established by the Bamberg bill. The Adam Bass bill creates a funding mechanism for it. I'm so proud of my team for figuring this out. It's an unbelievably elegant solution. We are able to provide some really significant funding, overall about $35 million, without state general fund. No state general fund is in there at all. And we're not increasing the burden on our
Where's
employers.
it coming from?
It is coming from the Incumbent Worker Training Program. And I do want to tell people who currently use the Incumbent Worker Training Program that we're going to keep the existing model available for people that want to use it. But we're adding additional flexibility to it so that we can target that to the needs of employers that we work directly with. The Incumbent Worker Training Program is a statutory dedication, but what we were able to do is move some funding, and I want to be careful about the way I phrase this because we are not taking unemployment insurance taxes and directing them in here, but we are counterbalancing a reduction in the unemployment insurance tax with an increase in the statutory dedication for IWTP. This is very wonky. Nobody needs to know the details, but if they want to, they can call me. But that creates additional funds that are available for this program.
Okay. Oh, I get it. I mean, it's trade-off, but it's a trade-off to where dollars won't be wasted. They'll be put to use.
They will be put directly to use. Our unemployment insurance trust fund is extremely healthy right now and doing better. We hit a trigger recently where we were able to lower taxes on our employers. So their overall burden is going to stay exactly the same.
If I'm not mistaken, another part of this is not just about the money, but about the businesses that get added to it. Is that like small businesses? There was the qualification to get involved in this.
Yes. So we reduced those qualifications, but part of what I'm really excited about is that we are going to have the freedom as the agency to reach out to employers, reach out to industry sectors, and work directly with them to understand what it is that they need, and then provide funding to help to get them there.
That makes it so much more adaptable.
That's exactly the point. That's exactly the point. So as we have these mega projects come in, I want to stress this part too. We need the workforce for the mega projects, but they're going to pull from the existing workforce and our existing economy from our small to mid-sized businesses. We have to address their needs so that they don't starve to death while the mega projects grow.
Right. No,
Yes.
but then it's a matter of saying, what is it you're good at and how can we slightly pivot that to bring it around to making you good at what's coming?
Absolutely, that's a big part of it. But even just, the restaurants, the hospitality industry.
Oh, yeah. Well, that was
so much pressure, right? and we have to make sure that they're able to
So
keep their
that's
doors
Adam
open.
Bass's bill, brings that 35 million
That's
around.
exactly right. And then Stephanie Baralt created, with the help of LABI, they really helped to pull all this together. I know they talked to you quite a bit,
Yep.
LABI. They've been wonderful during this session. They created the Bayou Growth Opportunity Fund. That isn't currently funded. So the idea is we're going to use these state and federal dollars that are currently available to us, and that's the Bass bill, to demonstrate, something of a proof of concept here and really do the work that I was just talking about. But then the Bayou Growth Opportunity Fund will in the future give us an opportunity, should we receive state general fund, or should we receive philanthropic or private investment in these funds? Because we do hope, as we show industry what we're able to do, that they'll be interested in contributing to these funds as well.
LA Works Secretary Susie Schowen's our guest, talking about some of the workforce development bills that made their way through the legislative session. Now, all of these, let's go back up to Bamberg's bill, because you said it's employer facing.
Yes.
How important is it to make sure that both sides of that equation are followed through on, the employer and the potential employee?
It's critically important, and it's something that I came into this role in January of 24, really prioritizing, because historically both state and federal law have been pretty silent on who owns business workforce solutions, who owns that job of working directly with employers. I came from LAD, so I saw firsthand how dysfunctional that was and how much that stressed our employers and our potential for economic growth. So I came in and made that my number one priority, was to focus on business workforce solutions. And we had legislation in the 24 session that Adam Knapp and the folks that are now Better Louisiana really contributed to. They were also terrific in the 25 session and this one, wonderful partners to us. But that established our agency as kind of the quarterback for employer workforce solutions. So that is a key, leg of the stool, if we want to think about it that way. We have to know where the employer demand is if we're going to do the right thing for the individual.
Oh, absolutely.
And so our second priority is that one door model of integrating social services as barrier reduction, what we were talking about earlier, so that we can get our people into the workforce and into the jobs that they want.
Yeah, I'm trying to remember how I phrased it when One Door was first coming out, was, being unemployed shouldn't be a full-time job.
I love that. That's exactly right.
Yeah, and because I mean, you're just chasing benefits, you're chasing training, you're chasing opportunity.
It's
you're
not
chasing
a good life.
No,
Yeah.
no, and you're spinning your wheels, and your plate can get filled up with garbage.
Yes.
And it's not job focused; it's maintenance focused.
Absolutely.
So that was why that's why One Door moved so quickly. Now, taking everything that went through the legislative session and applying it back into One Door to make sure it remains seamless. Walk me through what that process is going to look like from your office's end, aside from the legislature, your office's end, to make sure we get from point A to point B with these.
So I do want to, in that context, talk about a bill that was brought by Representative John Weibel, and that is restructuring.
Which I literally have open on my laptop right now.
Look at that, our good friend HB 680. But that legislation is going to help us apply for waivers with the Federal Department of Labor in order to make our federally funded workforce system as functional as it can be.
Now, it also localizes it, doesn't it?
So
Or was that a
it
different
is
bill?
localized. It is localized. This actually is going to give us at the state level an opportunity to make it more consistent so that our businesses and our people have a consistency of experience when they interact with the system. We currently have basically 15 different workforce systems in the state.
Right.
And this is going to help us make that into one system
Okay.
that works for everybody.
Oh, that makes sense. It's streamlining, but
Yes.
no, not streamlining. What's the word?
No,
I'm looking for?
streamlining is
Okay.
a good word for it. We use that word.
The So the next steps on that front, oftentimes when we see legislation passed, we have to sit and wait. And that waiting period is the hardest part because that's when everybody starts saying those bums didn't do anything at the Capitol. What does our waiting period look like? What does it look like to get from legislation to real life?
So we have an 18-month runway on the implementation of the Weibel bill. It instructs us, along with an executive order that Jeff Landry signed in January, it instructs us to request these waivers from the federal government. We actually already did that. So we submitted those on April 30th. And nothing about the legislative process prevented us from doing that. I want to be clear. So we submitted those on April 30th. The Department of Labor has told us that they are targeting July 29th to give us an answer on what we requested. And we have put together a transition advisory team that was established in the bill. We've already had one meeting of that entity. We're moving forward with that, but we're going to put together a pretty detailed transition plan. And it will honestly probably be 15 different transition plans, if you know what I mean.
To match up with the 15
local areas.
Well, no,
exactly.
that makes sense. But I guess the devil's in the details as to not letting it get run back afoul of the individual fiefdoms. Like it's not, because you said we have 15 different ones. Keeping it uniform is going to be the hard part here.
It is, but I also do want to emphasize we want to keep things that are working well at the local level working.
Sure.
We don't want to break those or leave those behind. And there is absolutely no argument that every region of the state needs its own solution. Every region of the state is going to be pretty different in terms of employer demand.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. But building that consistency. So, yeah, being able to figure out what needs to be the same, where we're freeing up local innovation to make sure that they're responding to the employers in their area. All of that is going to be the work that we're doing with the transition advisory team and with each of the local areas.
So all the legislators get to go home and you get to go to work.
That's absolutely exactly right. We're the dog that caught the car, and we're figuring out how
now
to
you got to know what to do
right
with
now.
it. She is Louisiana Work Secretary Susie Schowen. Always appreciate the time.
Absolutely glad to.
We got news coming your way right now. Patty G is next. Oh, that went way too fast. Why does the segment always go so fast when you're on?
So fast. I know.
Every time you're on.
Ton of other things. I'll come on whenever you want me to.
Well, yeah.
Seriously.
Co-host. Like seriously.
I'll do whatever you want me to do. I can talk.
Very well, but you tell the story so well.
I appreciate that.
It's explained in everyman terms, and it makes what would otherwise sound wonky makes sense.
Yeah.
So that's
I
what
appreciate hearing that because we don't want to be throwing bureaucrat speak at people.
I know.
Yeah.
So.
All right.
All right. Well, thank you very much.
Absolutely appreciate you.
Oh my gosh. Look at those cheeks. I need to sneak by you and grab my bag.
Patrick, Susie, Patrick.
Did we meet the last time I was here? I think maybe we did. I don't know.
Nice to meet you, Susie.
He's an accountant by day and a podcaster by night.
Okay. No, I probably just seen you somewhere, seen your face, but probably not.
Probably.
But nice. Have a good weekend, Susie. Thank you so much. You too. It was good to see you. Good to see you.
How are you? She heads up Louisiana Works, so workforce development and
LA Works.
Yeah.
I fixed their website.
Well, there you go. That might be where she's seen you.
And that's her with my other girl.
Oh my gosh, you chump up.
Yeah, y'all
Oh,
were
she's
about
a
3 minutes
chipmunk.
ahead of us going into mass on Sunday. Look at that.
What you mean?
We were pulling in the park and I saw the Gremion tribe making their way in.
For noon?
Oh, y'all went to noon.
No, we had a baptism afternoon.
What mass did you go to last week?
9.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, y'all were walking in, and as I was driving in, so you
I
were
got
3
you.
minutes ahead of us.
Yeah. No, that was our disappointing walk across the street when we realized they didn't have nursery.
Oh yeah, we gotta bring that back, man.
I think it was just for Vacation Bible School. Wasn't
Oh, was
Vacation
it?
Bible School this week?
I think it's kind of hit or miss though. I don't know.
Well,
yes,
like,
it was.
Like, it was all decorated. So like the nursery was all decorated. I assumed it was for VBS.
But I thought VBS was in the big conference rooms.
When I
don't know. I'm removed from it.
When I used to go to VBS, it was in the actual classrooms.
Well,
So in like looking back, you ever look back at your childhood and place yourself in different memories, and then as a parent, you look at it and see how your parents saw it. Where it was like Vacation Bible School, I was like, this is a fun place to go, and I'm like, this is my parents getting childcare. And then it's like when you were old enough to volunteer, I was like, man, we had so much fun volunteering. I'm like, again, my parents dropping me off for childcare.
Right.
I'm like, you just, as a kid, you're like, I get to do all these fun things. And then as a parent, you're like, okay, this is where we need to send them to get them out of the house.
So I have a question about PBS because my boys are doing it this week. Today's their last day. It only goes from 9 to noon. When I was a kid, wasn't it all day? Am I crazy?
It was always half day.
Always 9 to noon. What? I feel like my mom just dropped me off and I lived there all day.
Where at?
Homa.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'm sure it was different there. I mean,
Yeah, I'm sure.
So where are they at now?
Where
are they going to VBS this week?
Jefferson Baptist. So they are having every.
It's going to be different every location.
Yeah. See, so my kids go to Jumps.
Okay.
For daycare or pre-K. Mother's Day out. Yeah, whatever it is. But Quentin will be in pre-K at Mercy. He'll be, I guess, a Little Saint or whatever the step is between Little Saints.
Well,
Little Saints kindergarten, whatever that step is.
3 or 4?
He'll be 5.
He's pre-K.
Yeah.
Little Saints is pre-K.
Yeah, so he was at pre-K at Jumps, and then he'll be in pre-K at Mercy. So that's like Charlotte. She's looking ahead at her schedule. She's like, I got to go to Utah for a conference, for an engineering conference in September. And she's like, but it's okay. It's during the week. So you can just like walk Quinn to the edge of the driveway, kick him on the bus, and then you'll be able to handle the rest of the kids. Like, okay, that's good. So real excited for that bus.
Yeah.
Because like as it is, every kid at the bus stop already waves at him because he's in the window waving at them. So I'm like, all right, he's got a good little community. But they'll be like, Quentin, you're now with us.
He's one of the members. Yeah.
Yeah, he's one of the cliques.
They have family night at Jefferson last night where they can show off what they learned for VBS. And like we're walking in with the kids. Hey, Colston. Hey, I'm like,
you know all these people.
I know.
Yeah. What's best is Quentin would practice his songs. I just walking around the house, just singing them aimlessly. I was like, what are these songs? And then we did their program, and I was like, that's song.
I know they were doing all that.
I'm
like, what are you doing? He goes, that's what we're going to perform.
Yeah, I got to practice. He's got to get dialed in and focused for what's to come. So I'm a piggyback initially off of the legislative session.
Okay.
Because there's a pretty cool bill I got passed that impacts my.
You got passed?
No, I didn't get passed, but it impacts
that got passed. Okay.
My profession.
.736 Talk 107.3 FM WBRP mornings with Brian Haldane rolling right along. Before we get to Patty G, let me remind you about the folks over at Industry Makes. IndustryMakes.org is the website if you want to check it out. Who needs to check out Industry Makes? Well, literally anybody who wants to, because they're here to speak up on behalf of like oil and gas, manufacturing, all the sectors that are up and down the river that make all the products that make the world go. Because every time they turn around, there's a different protest speaking out against them. So who's speaking up for them? That's where Industry Makes comes in as a collective voice for energy in Louisiana, from the shoes on our feet to the products essential to our healthcare. Louisiana's industries are the business making it all. Our industries not only make the products the world needs, but they engineer the innovations that the world demands for a safer and more sustainable future, all the while creating quality jobs, a predictable and stable tax base, better schools, better quality of life. If you want to learn more, hit up industrymakes.org. Patty G's in the house. How are you, man?
Good morning, man. I am well. How are you?
Doing very well as well.
Those Industry Makes folks were on episode 247 of the Patty G Show.
Who did you hit? Desiree?
Yeah.
Awesome. Yeah, they're doing good work. it's one of those ones where when you see the individual industries, well, like, oh, they don't need help. They're just big business, right? Well, but they get chipped away at and torn down every time you turn around. So having a unified voice to really break through some of the myths that are out there. The biggest one this is the one that ticks me off the most. The myth of Cancer Alley. You know where Cancer Alley, up and down St. John Parish?
Yep.
The incidence of cancer within the parishes that are in Cancer Alley are actually lower than the incidence of cancer everywhere else in the state.
Really?
And oh, by the way, because of all those big plants up and down the river, those who do have cancer have better health care as a result. So you have no greater risk of cancer there than anywhere else, and you have better care should the unspeakable happen to you. Yeah. It's
education.
It's little things like that just nip at the heels. We've got a lot to talk about. Let's before we dive into Baton Rouge's economy is booming. Is yours. That's the
segment.
Yeah. Before we dive into that, though, you wanted to touch on something from the legislative session that hits home too.
I did. So it's on the same lines, right? Baton Rouge economy, the workforce retention element, right? So I don't know how familiar you are with the certified public accountant path.
No.
So there were initially two different paths to becoming a CPA, right? First path was 150 credit hours with a bachelor's degree, a year of experience, and then passing the CPA exam. The second path was 120 hours with a traditional bachelor's degree and further education with a master's, an MBA, a master's of accountancy, etc. 1 year in the workforce, and then sitting for the CPA exam and passing. So those are the original two. Both required 150 credit hours, whether through one bachelor's degree and adding hours or a bachelor's and then a postgraduate degree. They've changed that to now have 120 hour requirement, 2 years in the workforce, and passing the CPA exam. So no longer a requirement of additional 30 hours at an institution to get, whether it's a postgraduate degree or just another extra hours, and then 2 years in the workforce. So it opens up the potential for people to become a licensed CPA far greater than they had before. An example being folks that can only afford to go to college because of TOPS and can't afford getting a postgraduate degree. We're limited and unable to to become a licensed CPA.
You're trading classroom for real life experience, though.
Correct.
But by picking up that second year in the workforce, you're trading off the classroom for the real life,
which I think is far more valuable.
Oh. Yeah. Look, I have nothing against the education that happens inside the classroom. But once you get in the real world, the first person that hired me in radio asked me what I was majoring in at the time, and I was like, economics. He's like, good.
And don't major in radio.
No, because he says whatever you learn, I'm going to have to unteach.
Yeah. No, it's very true. Where I've got interns and people that are just coming out of college that are working for us at my firm, and they're talking me through different things and different problems they're going through, and they're like, well, I don't get this and get that. I'm like, okay, well, you're working on that right now. Right. Think about that particular client and what you're doing and fold that into your education.
Yeah.
And they're like, oh, I didn't even think about that. I was like, that's what you have to think about, because this real world experience, if you're a licensed CPA and you talk to a client and it's your first year out of college, what do you know? Like, just honestly,
I could quote Rodney Dangerfield, but the FCC would have a problem with that.
Like, just honestly, oh, well, technically X, Y, and Z occurs. Like, yes, but a lot of our job is revolved around professional skepticism and professional judgment. Right. And so if you don't have the experience of professional judgment and seeing circumstances, all you can say is, well, the code says this, the code says that. And how many times do people talk to their CPAs and go, okay, where's the gray?
Right.
Where's the gray?
Well, because that's where we eat.
Right. And if you're coming out of college, like, well, there is no gray. It's black and white. It's like, well, okay, you haven't seen enough circumstances, enough situations to know there are areas where you can interpret it one way over the other.
Yeah.
So that was a pretty big win, because that's a challenge that we face with Texas and Florida, who have already done that.
Okay.
And so now Louisiana's here saying we can rock and roll too. No need to go if you can't get a secondary degree. You can't get a postgraduate degree, you can stay here and do that. So it opens up folks that have been in the workforce for so long without having those extra hours, but otherwise would qualify, right?
Yeah.
So you've got your targets of the industry.
I didn't even think about that angle where, like, once you were done with your bachelor's degree, you're like, I'm going to go get a job and then I'll come back around for the post grad. But man, oh man, you don't want to take on more debt. You don't want life got in the way.
Life.
Yeah.
Those controllers that have been in industry for
Yeah.
10 years that have an accounting degree, and their stopping point for becoming CFO or the next step up is they don't have a CPA.
Yeah.
And so now they can say, well, I've got all the requirements for the accounting hours. I've got plenty years of experience. Let me just go and sit for this exam. I got, if it's a working mom or something, I had kids right out of college, couldn't do it. If it's a dad, like I had kids, couldn't study and family got in the way or what have you. Now it opens it back up. They can go and start studying and sitting for the exam and become licensed without having to go back to school. Again,
Love it.
Not knocking school. We're just trying to open up more opportunities for people.
Absolutely. It's just, real life is as valuable, if not more so. It just that's the bottom line on that. We get together. We bring Patrick Remy on, host of the Patty G Show, on about once a month to talk about overall business trends in and around the capital area. And we had one that I want to talk about this month, where the Greater Baton Rouge Economic Partnership, aka the Partnership, has put out a quarterly report, if you will, and their assessment is that our economy is booming right now. Jobs are at an all-time high. In fact, Baton Rouge leading their peers when it comes to job growth. And I say the capital region, not just the city itself.
Right.
Construction's on the upswing. Workers are earning more than anywhere else in Louisiana. I'm grabbing this one both from the partnership's email or press release and from the daily report as well. Unemployment claims have fallen sharply. College enrollment continues to climb. Housing remains relatively affordable, and the region is highly productive. Everything right now is pointing towards the capital region has a booming economy. But what about yours? I want to talk about that. Like how do we go about breaking down good news versus, man, I still sweat when I'm at the gas pump?
And I think that is it's an interesting situation for folks where they do have that reality of sweating at the gas pump right now. I mean, at the end of the day, until walking becomes a more economical means of transportation, it's a reality you have to live with.
It's not viable. You can't get from Sherwood to downtown by walking.
Correct. And so I often think about that element of people at the gas pump, and like you're putting $20 in and that's all you can put in your car to get to and from for however long.
Right.
And when they look at this jobs report, the question that I ask is, what are the jobs that have the highest employment right now? Construction and trade is a big boom for the moment.
Yeah.
Right. You've got this sector that is focusing on building new plants, building extensions of plants, and figuring out a way to just ultimately do road construction and everything. But that's like a very narrow view of the whole ecosystem.
Correct.
Even though it makes up a bulk of what the jobs are in Louisiana, it's still a narrow view. And so when you look at hospitality as an example, that's impacted by those folks needing to go and eat lunch and whatever.
Right.
But how many of the blue collar jobs are packing their lunches and not going to restaurants?
I would say probably most,
if not 95% of them, right? The folks that are going out to eat are in a different field. And what is the boom there? You've got your impact of remote work that's heavily targeting your white collar workers, so to speak, right? They're not having to go out and do things again. So if you look at, is the economy booming? Yes, but only certain sectors, right? How many restaurants are having empty parking lots during lunch and half full during dinner still?
Right.
Even though the economy is booming, so to speak. Or do you have a spending habit situation where folks that are in the booming sectors of the economy are nervous? They're nervous to spend. And so now they're just holding on to that cash.
Here's my question for you is how do you make one sector of the economy spin off into others? How do you make a booming construction sector good for accounting growth? How do you make a booming construction sector good for advertising or any other industry out there that might be either outsourced or grown to folding in other jobs?
Yeah. The construction piece, when you look at that and how it relates to marketing and advertising spaces, they've got to have the confidence that they're going to spend advertising dollars to hire more people. So they may not be looking for work necessarily, but how do we target different areas of the business that could be impacted with different industries, being the marketing space? If you got a big construction company, you got big jobs coming up, you've got to hire people. You've got to reach into a talent pool. So change maybe the mindset of, hey, I am so-and-so, I am ABC Construction Company and I need to hire 100 people. Let me start pulling ad dollars in radio stations because I know those folks that are going to come work for me are listening to these stations.
The other turnaround there is when you see wages go up, then disposable income goes up. When provided inflation's not through the roof.
Right.
When you see wages go up, disposable income can go up. When disposable income goes up, that's where you can strike while the iron's hot.
Yes, and if you look through that report, you noticed that Louisiana still has one of the higher earnings to available spend ratios, meaning what you earn and what it costs to live there.
Right.
It is pretty in parallel. Whereas if you go to a different, bigger market, you could earn so much, but your cost to live there could far exceed what you earn.
Mm-hmm.
I was actually impressed by the average earnings in the capital area.
Really?
$78,000 a year.
It's stacked differently though, because there's the average, there's the mean, and there's the disparity in the reality.
Right.
Those are three different numbers altogether.
They are, but where we fell within our comp cities.
Oh yeah, overall, like there's not a day that, like, I'm not gonna say this because I love what I do, but like you don't wake up saying, boy, did I get in the wrong business, just I didn't love what I do, love where I'm at, absolutely adore where I work and the people I work with. But when you start to see some of the numbers come in, and when Susan Bourgeois has another announcement, and we just talked with Susie Schowen in that segment, as an announcement after announcement after announcement of, well, they're bringing in 200 new jobs with an average salary of 120K. Like that. Do what now?
And the difference there is what's required of the job.
Right.
Like you said, you love this job, but let's flip it outside and put you in the 100-degree heat and have you do the same job.
You know what? Let's have you wake up at 3:45 every morning and see which one comes out worse. We got Patrick Graham in the house. We're going to take a quick break. We got a good 5 minutes on the back end with Patty G talking workforce issues or the overall economy in Baton Rouge. Here's your money now. Oh, my word.
3:45. Why are you sleeping in?
Bro, because I can. I have a backup alarm that goes off at 4:15, and I would be lying if I didn't say the last 2 weeks it's been 4:15 every freaking day. And I still get here on time, but I feel less prepared when the show starts.
Dude, same. Meaning, I normally get up at 3:30, and if I sleep in till 4:30, whatever, I feel like the whole day becomes rushed.
Yes.
And I'm like, why?
Now, on paper, everything is mapped out.
Right.
The show rundown is good to go. My notes, some talking points and punchlines, like I know what I want to say and how I want to say it. I've mapped all that out. And yet still somehow, if I wake up at 4:15 instead of 3:45, I feel like I'm behind the 8 ball the entire show.
So do you take a while to wake up?
No.
Physically, or like, are you able to pop out of bed and go straight to on air if need be?
I could if needed. It might take a minute to knock the cobwebs out.
Well, that's what I'm saying. Like, how long from wake up to cobwebs, Sandman's out of your eyes?
Right. 15. Well, bear in mind there's a shower here, so
right.
That's you shower in the morning to jumpstart everything. So 15 minutes, maybe 20.
Okay. So you're in theory you're mentally behind. You're physically prepared. You're mentally behind by 30 minutes. If it takes you 15 minutes to wake up. But that should be countered
by being more rested, which I'm not.
So I found if I get up, so like my alarm example went off this morning at 3:30 and I popped up and I felt awake and ready to go.
Mm-hmm.
But then I was like, this week I've been pushing it hard in the morning. I'm going to go back to bed and rest for a little bit. And then when I woke back up after that secondary rest, I guess, I felt more tired.
Yeah.
I'm like,
but long term over the course of the day,
yeah,
it's more sustainable to get that secondary rest. Because when I wake up, the number of mornings where I wake up at 2:00 and I just stay awake in like a zombie state until the alarm goes off, just staring at my ceiling for an hour and 45 minutes. That's not healthy for anybody. But when I get up then, I can go after it really strong. And then by about 8:00, 8:15,
you're crashing.
Yeah. And then I've got an hour or less than an hour of show still to go.
Yeah.
and I'm fading fast.
Yeah, I will tell you. We'll tell you this. Do you use that for your sleep tracking
No, I recharge my watch at night.
at night?
Yeah.
So I got this Garmin because I'm training for the Louisiana Marathon, and you never realize the information that you can get from your sleep.
Oh, it's going to tell me my sleep habits are horrible. I already know that.
Yeah.
When you go to bed at 11 and wake up at 2.
Yeah. So it was like, it tells you like your sleep stages and how you slept over the last week, and it gives you your sleep scores and kind of shows where you ebb and flow. And then for this, I've got it synced to like help me with my workouts and all this stuff. And this morning, it told me like, okay, here you're supposed to your workout for the week or all this stuff. And then this morning it said, you didn't sleep well last night. Listen to your body if you're going to work out today. I'm like, thanks. Does it do me any good?
Yeah, that's where I say F my body.
I'm like, listen to my body. I'm a bunch of shit.
I'm going after it either way.
Well, I've started doing afternoon runs instead of workouts and then running in the morning.
I wish I could work out in the morning. I feel like I would be so different if I could work out before the show.
Dude,
but like
it changes your whole
But
day.
the rest of the world doesn't work on a morning show schedule.
No,
I
you're
have
in,
to
you're in
be.
a
I
different.
have to be 2 hours ahead of everybody else because my 2 hours in is everybody else is waking up.
Yeah, you'd be working out. So I get to
At 3,
I get to the gym at 4. You'd have to get there at least at 3.
Yeah. Which means waking up for 2:30.
Yep.
Which means going to bed, well before I do, which means not being able to do show prep the night before, which means I would have to push that back by another half hour to squeeze that in on the front end. So now, instead of going to the gym at 3, I'm going to the gym at 2:30. And it just.
And then when are you sleeping?
Or being a dad.
Yeah, that too. Well, that's why I switched to runnings in the evening, because now I can just put a kid in a stroller and go push him for a run.
Yeah. But here's the thing, though, is you're a couple of years away from that opportunity to run has now been replaced by driving to practice.
Right.
And recitals.
So I understand I'll have to flip back to the morning where they're all still asleep.
Yeah.
But for the time being, I'm like, let me go push Quentin around Tara for a half hour.
Oh, you need to show me which house is yours.
I've showed you.
But I need you to show me again. I've forgotten. But I was driving past your house the other day, and I'm like, which one is his again?
You went down LaSalle?
Yeah.
Which way were you headed?
From
Lobdell or from Tara?
Yes, from Lobdell. What's the next one over? Is Chevelle.
So
on Chevelle, and then went up LaSalle to Tara Boulevard, and then out Tara
So you
Boulevard.
turned left on LaSalle from Chevelle?
Turned right on LaSalle from Chevelle.
You came from Old Hammond.
Yeah.
Okay, so you turn right from on LaSalle.
Yeah.
I'm the second house the first house on the left.
Okay.
So you got the brick wall for that house.
Yeah.
So you know where the sign that says "Welcome to Terra Subdivision"
On the boulevard?
on LaSalle?
No.
Really? I live in Terra.
Let's 756 Talk 107.3 FM WBRP.
You're even from here?
We're not. Oh my goodness. By the way, if you're not following us over on Facebook Live, you're missing out on a little bit of the show every single day. We are live on Facebook, courtesy of the folks over at Lake Urgent Care. Patty G is very descriptively describing where he lives.
Without publicly giving out my address.
Well, I didn't mean to get that narrowed down to, right next to that one brick wall facing the side street. No, not that was. Just, I'll send me a pin. Send me a pin.
I'll drop you a pin.
We got a couple minutes left with Patty G, host of the Patrick Remy on host of the Patty G show, talking business in Baton Rouge. We're gonna have to skip down to the bottom of the page here because we only got 3.5 minutes left. I want to ask you this question, and it's I should say in the prep notes, you asked this question.
I asked the question.
You asked the question, and I think it's the most important question because we have a tendency to be very negative, very pessimistic, very cynical about Baton Rouge. But when you see hiring numbers like that, when you see education where it's at on the upswing on K through 12, when you see university enrollment going through the roof, both at LSU and at Southern, on BRCC for that matter, hell, even Southeastern's numbers are hitting records. So when you see everything rowing in the same direction, are we finally at a pivotal point in Baton Rouge's history where we can look to the future and be optimistic to say this is a turning point for the city?
I think we are, but I think it's going to be influenced whether or not it becomes a reality if folks decide to stay here. Meaning, you've got these jobs. Some of them are temporary, right?
Mm-hmm.
You've got an I-10 widening project that they referenced in the article. Love it or hate it, it's happening, right?
Mm-hmm.
You've got construction jobs, building new facilities. Love it or hate it, it's happening.
Okay, but
what happens once they're done?
Every construction job is building a permanent job. Sorry,
Okay.
every construction project
Okay.
is building a
All right.
permanent job.
Yeah.
It's not a 1-to-1 ratio. I wasn't trying to create that.
No.
But what I was saying is if somebody's building a building, they're not building an abandoned building.
No.
They're building something that's going to house a business.
Correct.
So
it's a matter of once that's built, we've got to fill it.
right. No,
Most-
you don't build it to it's going to be filled. You don't build it unless you know what's going in it first.
For the most part.
I don't know who's putting up an office. Let's just throw this up there.
Well, no,
and then,
building office space, and you're hoping to lease it as you build it. Some folks will
Oh,
start.
that's fair.
Some
That's
folks will
fair.
start an
Okay.
office project in the hopes of leasing it along the way.
okay, I'm thinking more.
You're thinking
along
more
the
like the
lines-
Lipsy's project that's going on in Highland, right?
Yeah, yeah,
that's
yeah.
going to
Yeah.
house Lipsy's.
Right.
That's known. That's big and bold and blasted everywhere.
Yeah.
But if you're building an office,
And the
an
Hyundais,
office
the
complex,
CF
right,
Industries, and
that's different. I'm talking about if you've got construction or you look at downtown, the abandoned buildings, no one's going to renovate those abandoned buildings unless they've got a tenant,
Right.
unless they have a capital they need to inject for whatever reason and say, let's build it and then we'll hope people come.
right. It's not
So-
Field of Dreams out there.
Right. It's not. But you've got to have people do it one at a time for the abandoned spaces.
Mhm.
You've got to have people go there and say, what can we turn this into? Let's now turn it into, let's get a concept and then let's go and sell it. Who wants to come here? The projects that have the capital being spent by companies that are planning to stay there,
Mhm.
that's an easy thing, right? Yes, you're creating new jobs, but you're also the jobs that are there to
10
build
seconds
it.
left.
The jobs that are there to build it are going away once it's done.
So is it a yes or no? Is Baton Rouge at a turning point?
Yes.
He's Patrick Gremion, host of the Patty G Show. We chat roughly once a month. Always appreciate the time, brother.
Thank you, Brian.
Hour 3 is coming up next on Talk 107.3 FM.
All right, I'll show you where I'm at because I've already gotten a text from my beautiful bride saying, "I want you to tell the whole world where we live."
I try to keep him under wraps. I do.
Okay. You come down Old Hammond, turn right on the south. That's my house.
This one.
Yeah.
Okay. All right.
So here's Chevelle.
Yeah.
You turn right. You go towards Terra. Okay, so you got this house right here.
I don't know where there's a Terra sign there.
Right here. It says, "Welcome to Terra subdivision. It's a deed restricted subdivision. You've got no solicitation. We've got license plate readers." There's a big old sign, like a mailbox looking thing.
Okay. So, Carrie has a friend that the 2-story that's if you're facing your house to the right,
Mm-hmm.
horseshoe driveway, 2-story house. I don't know if it's one house down or two.
Not on my street.
Not. It's not.
You talking about the Frugiers?
No, the Frugiers are.
They're right down. They're like less than a block from me.
No, they're not. Casey Frugier.
That's his house.
That's a block from you.
Yes.
I only come to their house from the other side.
Yeah, if you keep going and you turn left.
You're even from here? I live in Sherwood.
Yeah, but you sound like you're a frequenter of Terra.
I'm a member of Terra.
Exactly my point.
Yeah.
Were you there yesterday?
No.
Oh.
I've only been out once this season so far. My son's out there all the time.
Let's say I ran by there yesterday.
No.
I was the wackadoo pushing a stroller. Yeah, dude, who's got the horseshoe driveway?
It's not LaSalle. It's the
He
next
lives
block
on the
up.
new side of Terra.
It's the next block up. It's not LaSalle.
This guy?
Yeah.
Beach Grove?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, so see the pin? Pin is me.
Uh-huh.
He's here.
Yeah, that's not a block, dude. That's
Who's that? That's not. No. Casey's here.
oh, okay.
Right? I'm thinking of the right people.
Casey, Jill, 18 kids.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They walk from their house to my house every morning at the bus stop.
Have they sold you on Axe yet?
Not yet. No, I know.
You need to do Axe.
I know.
You need to.
I know.
It's important.
I know.
Line.
Well, you have a good day.
You too, bro. Absolutely.
Next time you drive by my house and you see my Jeep, just stop. And just knock on the front door.
I will. No, I was thinking one block closer to Goodwood, not LaSalle. That's where I was making a mistake. I wasn't on LaSalle.
Mm.
You got one more. Like if you're going from Old Hammond to Goodwood on Chevelle, you got LaSalle, then you got the next one up. That's where I made my mistake when I was coming across. I wasn't on LaSalle at the time.
Got it.
So
Yeah, and we're right there. We're the
Alright.
the first house in Terra on LaSalle.
Awesome.
It was really great because
Yeah.
I had ADP or somebody come knock on my door. And he was like, hey, I'm sent out to do this. And I was like, I'm gonna stop you right there, buddy. Like, first, I know what you're gonna tell me. I already have custom. See the signs and cameras everywhere, so you can keep going. But two, just so you know, there's no solicitation sign
I have to
right
tell
across the
people all
street,
that
so
all
you
the
can just
time.
get back in your car. And
Oh,
leave.
and no solicitation sign is the most useless thing on the planet.
Yeah, but see, I just lean into it. I'm like, I don't know what I can do, what
I know.
recourse I have.
I answer my door with my gun.
All
Do
the
that next
time
time.
they're doing that. All the time.
I answer the door with a full-on AR. Can I help you? With a silencer, can I help you?
I
Go ahead, you got 30 seconds. Give your pitch.
I have my 9mm and I'm good. It's not even an impressive 9mm. We're Kel-Tec, so
Is it like exposed?
it's in my hand.
Oh, so you answer the door. Morning.
Gonna pull the door open, then I'm holding it and then push the door.
Oh, yeah. Can I help you?
Hey, what's up?
Oh my God.
That's what a buddy of my dad said. He was at the bank in the teller line one time, and this guy, knocking on cars for change or something. And he comes into his car, and the guy knocks on it and goes, "Hey man, you got any spare change?" He goes, "Hang on, I didn't hear you. Can you talk to my microphone?" Well, man, I didn't mean nothing about it. Step off.
It would be nice to It would be nice to go one day without somebody asking for money. That's just one day. That's all I need.
So, dude, downtown blinders, man.
Right?
See ya.
All right. Awesome. Appreciate y'all filling in. Yeah, Breland and I will send one of that before when we're talking about home. So, well, normally we meet before. So long as we do a little piece, that's one year. Talk about whatever it is. We're working to bring it back. Chef Jason Abear. Give us a minute. I got two more segments before y'all. So go on. You got one already. Thank you.
I'm gonna start singing.
No.
Me, you don't need no hater.
806 Talk 107.3 FM WBRP mornings with Brian Haldane rolling right along. We've got a busy third hour for you this hour. State Representative Joe Orgeron going to join us in our next segment. Looking forward to unpacking his legislative session. And then it's Foodie Friday time. We're talking beef. We're talking steak. We're talking burgers. We're talking ribs. We're talking Father's Day's right around the corner. And the folks from Bally's and the Queen are going to be in the house. We're going to have some fun with this. Look, the purpose of Foodie Friday, which is presented by the Louisiana Beef Industry Council. The whole purpose is for us to up our own foodie game. And if you want to do that, you can visit beefitswhatsfordinner.com. That would be their website. Get yourself some recipes, learn a little bit about some of the health benefits of beef. Whether you talk about the protein or the 10 vitamins and nutrients that are within it, beefitswhatsfordinner.com. We'll have a lot more of that when we get, who do we have here? We got Chef Frederick Turline as well as Ryan Hernandez coming in to talk about what they've got going on at the casinos for Father's Day. All right, right now, we roll back the clock. Right now,
Back in the year 1944,
ooh,
after receiving favorable weather reports, now this is pretty cool. General Eisenhower decides to proceed with the D-Day invasion on June 6th.
yes.
I don't know if I remember that he was
well-
just waiting on the perfect time to just.
So today is not June 6th. I'm sorry.
Why did that come up? Okay, regardless, we're going to keep moving. 1956, Elvis Presley performed Hound Dog on national television for the first time. One of the defining moments of early rock and roll.
Okay.
Hang on, let me make
Was
sure.
that, what day was that on?
June? I'm pulling up June 6th on my end.
Okay.
Do you also have the 6-day war at the beginning?
Stop.
Israel?
I need you to stop. Today is June 5th.
Okay, you go ahead.
Okay. So pull up the previous day.
I don't know why it pulled up. Hang on. What do you have while I'm pulling it up?
So I've got on this day in 1968, RFK's assassination.
I had that too. Okay. Hang on. Okay.
Yeah. On this day, just moments after his victory speech for the California presidential primary, U.S. Senator Robert F. Kennedy was fatally shot by Sirhan.
I have in 2012, conservative political nonprofit organization Turning Point USA was founded by Charlie Kirk.
There you go. Yep.
In 2018, film producer Harvey Weinstein pleads not guilty to rape and sexual assault charges in a court of New York City on
Okay.
this day in history.
All right.
That's all I have. Hang on. 2023, former U.S. President Mike Pence declares his candidacy for the Republican presidential nomination. I almost forgot about that. I forgot for a hot minute he was running for president.
When?
2023.
He ran for. Wow. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, he declared. Remember when I think he went to one debate, and then after that, he decided I'm out.
Was he even in a debate?
I think he was.
That's stupid.
I feel like I don't remember that, but it's here.
Yeah.
Okay, notable birthdays on this day in history. Kenny G has a birthday. I know. I like Kenny G. I really do. Brian McKnight, Mark Wahlberg. That's all I have that's notable now.
Let's stick with that. Come on. I've switched pages. Okay. Neil Patrick Harris.
Okay.
Add him to the mix. Economist John Maynard Keynes was born on this day. And that's all I've got for those.
Notable deaths, I have Conway Twitty. He passed away in 1993. Ronald Reagan, 2004, after his battle with Alzheimer's. That's all I have that's notable.
And Ray Bradbury was in 2012.
Okay. National Day today. It is National Donut Day.
I can take that for sure.
National Donut Day. Yep. National Hot Air Balloon Day, Constitution Day, but I'm going with the donut.
We can definitely go with the donut for sure. We should have had donuts at some point. Yeah, National Donut Day is the one that I have as well. It is 8:11 at Talk 107.3 FM, WBRP. Before we take our first break, I want to remind you about the folks over at Landmark Bank. LandmarkBankLA.com is their website. What you get with Landmark Bank that you're not going to get from some of the national or multinational big boys is you're going to get personal service. You're going to get a banker. You're going to get someone you know, someone you can trust, someone you can actually talk out your plans with. Where do you want to be in 10 years? Where do you want your personal finances to be? Where do you want your business to be? LandmarkBankLA.com. Hit that little About Us tab. Get their locations. Get their hours. Learn more about what they are, because when you're in their community, you have a community bank. And you have a community banker, someone that you see in carpool lines, someone that you see at the grocery store or at the gym, wherever it might be that you're at. They're a part of your community, and you're a part of theirs with LandmarkBankLA.com. Do what? No. I thought he was supposed to be here. Can you do me a favor and call him? Write this down. Or morning, Paul. 180pros.com, 180pros. They're our studio sponsors, and they are not your IT provider. They are your IT partner. And that does make a difference, by the way, because they base their success off of your success. If you hit up 180pros.com, you can learn all about it. Or better yet, give them a call, 225-330-2200. Small business owners, you need someone reliable when it comes to running your network. You need someone reliable when it comes to maintaining your cybersecurity. You need someone reliable when it comes to making sure your business is headed in the right direction when adapting to AI. They do all of these things over at 180 Pros, and they're locally. So if you give them a call, 225-330-2200, 225-330-2200, 180 Pros has got you covered. Do what? Oh. 180 Pros has got you covered. We've got 180 Pro, like I said, 180pros.com. Trying to buzz in our next guest here, State Representative Joseph Orgeron, going to be on with us in just a quick second. Talking about the legislative session that was, Representative Orgeron is always a very valuable resource on that front. Talking to us about what's been going on within the session as a whole, but a little bit about his work as well. There he is right there, making his way on into the building. It was a busy session. Not everything was a headline. Some things did make it across the finish line that didn't get as much pub or as news as they should. But joining us right now, we've got State Representative Joseph Orgeron in the house. How are you, sir?
Good morning. I'm fine.
Glad to have you in this morning, recapping the legislative session that was. While you're getting yourself situated there, let's just start with a general overview before we get into any individual bills. Some of the we had Susie Schowen on this morning talking workforce stuff.
Okay.
That seemed to headline the first part of the session.
Yep.
It felt like this session was a bunch of mini sessions in a row, though. Would that be about the right takeaway?
Energy redistricting. Yeah. Was a lot of different little things in there.
Small things adding up throughout the session as it made its way forward.
Right.
I know there's a whole lot to unpack. There was more than 2,500 different items.
2,500 instruments.
Golly. Yeah. Can a cap be put on that?
It's one of the things people who want to get into, being elected official don't, and in the legislature don't realize the span and the breadth of topics that you can't be an expert on all of them. So you need to talk to your fellow legislators who, whatever that topic is, that you got to ask them, what's the deal with this? Why are they trying to do this and things like that?
Well, because it does, if you're addressing 2,500, and it could be something as simple as like, I don't know, a resolution acknowledging Guarantee Media for being around for 100 years, which that happened. So right. Shout out to Gabe Furman on that one. But like, it could be something as simple as that. But when you're talking about, it was more than 1,800 bills before it was all said and done. Correct. So resolutions aside, commendations aside, 1,800 bills. And I remember after pre-filing, like, oh, wow, that's a lot. And I was like, oh, wait, everybody's got 5 more once session opens.
Right.
Like, that's got to be real then.
Yeah, it is. But you just, you barrel through it, man. You just put nose down and get it done.
Where do you want to start? You want to start with the session overall or with what you had working?
Let's start with what I had.
Go for it.
That would be real easy. Last night I didn't think I would be in Baton Rouge this soon after the end of session.
Right.
But there was a dinner that I had promised I would do during session that I wasn't able to get to. So they did it this last night. And while I was at dinner, they really wanted charbroiled oysters. And the guy came in and says, these are oysters from Grand Isle. And I'm like, yeah. I had 2 bills that he's like, these are the cage grown, the off bottom cultivated oysters. And I said, yeah, I actually ran two pieces of legislation to help what's called AOC, nothing to do with the gal from the north, but
right.
Alternative oyster cultivation. So I ran 2 bills that do that. One was to expand Grand Isle's area, and another one was to to allow them to not have to duplicate tagging. You know, there is like a chain of command with a chain of custody whenever you grow oysters, because if raw oysters get into the market and people get sick, they got to be a way to track them down.
Yep.
Exactly. And the tagging of the bags and stuff like that. The guys that grew them in the cages basically put them not in directly in the sacks the way the on-bottom people do. They put them in containers and then they bring them back and put them in little boutique bags, and so they don't have to tag them twice. It's called a bulk tagging bill. So that was two bills that I ran there. Of course, I ran 2 bills about the menhaden industry for recreational fishermen.
The pogey boats. Walk through that a little bit, because that became a much hotter issue than I thought it was going to be.
Right.
Way more contested.
All right. So still we have the industrial menhaden, reduction menhaden industry. And for 2 years, we kind of had a compromise that they would stay a half mile off the beach.
Mm-hmm.
And last year, they basically said, we want to break that compromise. We want to come closer into the beach. And so we opted to run a package of 4 bills. One that would set them having to fish in 22 feet and deeper. And there's a reason why 22, it's not just pulled out. There was $1 million of Louisiana taxpayer money that was spent to find what, as they're catching menhaden in shallow water, mid-depth water, and deeper water, what other fish they caught
right
at that time. And basically everything that we cared about, croakers, white trout, speckled trout, and redfish, all seemed to be, it wasn't a definitive, day and night type of thing. It was a transition, but the transition inflection point was at 22 feet. So 22 feet and shallower, you had those good.
That's where you're going to find the reds and everything else. Yeah.
And then whenever you got 22 feet and deeper, it was the catfish, gaff top sail, hardhead catfish, cow nose rays, and black-tip sharks, which we have way too many of out there in the Gulf. So
black-tip sharks.
Yeah, there's a lot of those.
I can't imagine the menhaden fishermen want to be pulling up a whole lot of black-tips, though.
Well, they would shoot them out the side. And right now, if they fish in shallow water, they're shooting out redfish out the side. So.
Okay. So we'll talk about that for a quick second, because it makes it sound like when they're fishing, they just pull up whatever they pull up and it's lost.
They do. They basically just put out a big purse seine net, which is a big curtain that has a string to collapse the bottom.
Mm-hmm.
And it's meant to fish in open ocean. And as they put the net out around the schooling fish, and fish will school whenever they're being predated, the Marine Sustainability Council says purse seine fishing is good to minimize bycatch, because it allows the predators to escape out the bottom as you close the purse seine.
Okay.
And in the menhaden industry, the same would work if you fish in a deep enough water to allow the predators to escape out the bottom. But if you fish in shallow waters where the weights are on the bottom, then basically there's no way to escape. It becomes an indiscriminate catch of everything they put the net around.
Okay.
They get it. So
that
that's another reason for the.
Now, what about the menhaden population? I mean, are they more in the 22 foot and deeper? I mean,
they're everywhere.
Is there a drop off in their catch the further out they go?
No, they have some of their largest single net catches are in deeper water.
Okay.
It's just that the menhaden move in and out. They kind of come in and then they move out later in the year. But anyway, so one bill was that's the one of the 4 bills. That's the one that they saw to be most detrimental to their business.
Mm-hmm.
So they focused all their energy on that one. They killed that one. It did not pass. But the other 3 were putting AIS or GPS pinging instruments on the net boats that go out, so we can monitor where they're fishing a little bit better. That one passed. The penalties if they violate the buffer zones passed. And the third one was about the data. Because the menhaden industry used to have multiple players, and now it's devolved to only 2 players, 2 foreign based companies. There's something called the rule of 3, that if you collecting data from less than 3 people, then you got to keep it confidential, because one could determine what the other one's doing from the total numbers. It really is meant for not when data gets aggregated to the state level for the season, but they were still hanging their hat on that and trying to keep the data confidential.
Okay.
And I just changed the law to, whenever Menhaden data comes out for the whole year for the state of Louisiana, it can't be confidential.
Would there be some kind of competitive advantage? I mean, that's a matter of
these two
they don't want the
companies,
transparency.
these two companies do, even though they fight to allow them to continue to fish the way they do, they join forces to battle my legislation. They do compete against each other as far as who's providing the fish meal or the protein to the market that buys it. So,
State Representative Joe Orgeron's our guest, talking about the legislative session that was. So between oysters and fishing, that ate up most of, no pun intended, that ate up most of your session.
It did. One other bill, tarpon. Somebody called me.
I saw that one.
Somebody called and said, you know how many times tarpon's mentioned in Louisiana statute? I said, I don't know. I know that, for most rodeos, you can only catch one per day per person or so.
Mhm.
It's like, it's not in anything. I mean, we need to put it as a game fish. We need to put it with redfish, blue marlin, white marlin, sailfish.
What changes once it becomes a game fish?
Not much, really. There's a process by which you can now put limits and things like that, or fork size, minimum size.
Okay.
So it just starts the conversation for that. So
all right, and that one was also sent to the governor, correct?
it was. It hasn't been signed yet, but I got asked, is he going to veto it? I said, I don't think he'll veto it, but he just mean not sign it, and by not signing it after a certain amount of time, it by default becomes law, goes into it.
Got State Representative Joseph Orgeron in with us talking about the legislative session. So you had a really laser focus then on fishing and that world. That world. Well, it's where you're
natural
from.
resources.
Sure.
We're vice
Sure.
chair of
Now,
natural resources.
are you able throughout a 3-month long session to keep your head down and focus on that, or how much do you get drawn into everybody else's garbage?
You always get drawn into everybody else's garbage, redistricting, and
how much?
other
Okay,
things.
what kind of role did you play there?
Not much. Just watch the maps, and I have an app from the 2020 session called Dave's Redistricting.org. It's a website that anybody could go in and play with the precincts. So I was just following as the maps were changing and they were amending them. I was like keeping track of how my district changes from, it always was fully Steve Scalise District 1.
Mhm.
And now I have some of the new District 6. I got like 3 precincts of the new District 6 in my state district.
Okay.
So it changed a little bit.
All right.
Stuff like that.
I can see that. A few of the other bigger ticket items making their way through. We saw carbon capture make an appearance again.
Primarily
and was
the local option.
option on carbon capture. And it once one got shot down, it was like dominoes. They all fell.
Correct.
How involved were you with getting into that discussion?
Very, very involved.
Walk me through a little bit about what that looked like and why. When you look at something that's local option, you're like, why shouldn't people have the right to do what they want to do locally?
Yeah.
And on this, it's because what you do locally is intertwined with what your neighbor does too.
All of the projects would basically be starting where the capture would be from one of the facilities that one of the refining facilities of some form, some facility, and the injection location, the geology that supports putting the carbon dioxide down under the ground 8,000 feet basically is very unlikely to be right there.
Right.
So you always got to have transport in pipelines and transferring it somewhere else in order for the injection site. And if you have a parish that's saying we don't want it, then the rerouting around that parish pretty much may cause them to not do it. So it was just you need to go all the way back to the 2020 session before I actually got in. They proposed to go for the primacy to be able to get the authority from the EPA, the feds, to be able to do this in Louisiana
for the Class 6 wells.
Correct.
Yeah, and
it passed unanimously. I mean, across both House, and so basically that sent out to these industries, Louisiana's our place. They're going to even be before Texas.
Right.
And so that legislation basically opened the door and sent out the invitation to the party.
Mm-hmm.
And then now you're kind of getting individual parishes that like, there's a lot of misinformation. A lot of the people who were anti-fracking and putting out like fracking videos causing, all sorts of horrible things. And we know that in the end, It's basically it was the technological key that unlocked our energy dominance in the U.S. Being able to pull out the hydrocarbons from the shale that was locked in, otherwise unattainable. And the people that fought that in 2012, you watch some of the videos, and they look exactly like the anti-carbon capture videos that they have now.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
Well, and it's just been a weird evolution with the carbon capture. To see who decided to become bedfellows on this one, and to see the level of misinformation that gets out there. But at the same time, though, you don't want to like not validate their actual concerns.
I mean, I understand their concerns, but they're, talking about it as unproven. I mean, we've been doing it since 1971, so it's been done. I mean, petroleum engineering colleges now have certifications in carbon sequestration and reservoir storage. So it's a science that's been proven.
Do you think we're resolved at this point? Do you think that once this pass through this legislative session, or do you think we're going to see this all come back up again next session?
I would expect another reprise of a slightly lesser intensity, maybe once more or twice more.
We got about 2 minutes left with State Representative Joe Orgeron. Want to talk about where you go next? Like once the session's done, you go back home, you go back to work, you go back to the real life.
Right.
What does your process look like in preparing for the next session?
Well, first of all, my day job is Restore Retreat Coastal Restoration.
Yeah.
Miss Bally and I actually had a volunteer planning this Saturday with all the rain. We just pushed it to Sunday.
Okay.
To try to get it done. So I've been working on trying to get back in the groove with Restore Retreat. Been doing that for the rest of the week. But the 22-foot deal with the pogies, that the one failed piece of legislation that really had the teeth. I'm going to start working on that already. And now it's just kind of taking a little notebook page and on my computer of 2027 potential legislation and keeping a list of what I may, as people ask me things. Now it is a fiscal session, and
which changes things greatly.
And we're only going to be allowed 5 non-fiscal bills, so.
Unless they're local bills. I love that little carve out.
Right.
Garbage. I'm sorry. Y'all just have you're part-time employees, and you got way too much on your plate to begin with, and then we see the end of a 3-month session and 2,500 items considered, and I don't know how we can stay focused through all that.
Well, day before yesterday, I ran into my parish president, and he said, I might have a local bill for you to run next year. So.
Never stops. Backing up to the session as a whole, give the session a grade. Did y'all get a good bit done? Because I know that, we didn't have the big ticket stuff that we've seen from previous ones, but I saw a lot of work.
B+.
Okay.
Yeah. More on, I'm going to call it tort reform, or more, wish more would have happened on that front. Insurance, those things. Was looking for a little bit more action that didn't happen. My pogie bill that failed. I can't give it an E, but other than that, I think we took care of things we needed to do. The people, chose to knock down the amendments. We had teed up a way to give the teachers a raise.
Oh yeah.
And that got just batted down on the
inventory tax as well.
Everything, across the board. And I told you earlier, I said, man, read PAR, the public affairs research.
No, absolutely. I lean on that like you wouldn't believe.
So many people call me and just say, how do I need to vote on the amendments? And it's like, man, you really should do your own research. You really should read them. Voting, is a privilege. And you should really, it's personal, it matters to you. So you really should read them and vote what matters to you. But anyway, the teacher raise was unfortunately, a disappointment, but at the last minute, they came up with a mechanism. I don't know if you heard about reducing the amount of the MFP that goes to the school.
We're going to have some math tutorials on that one, because I hear them loud and clear.
Right. Well, as soon as you say the teachers and their helpers, 2,000 and 1,000,
right,
and none for the administrators, then I start getting the email from all the administrators. Don't like the deal.
And there's another part of this is that the teachers are not state employees. That's a whole other part of this that I don't think has really been scratched yet.
Right.
So,
Yeah.
in the meanwhile, I greatly appreciate you stopping by. It's been a long 3 months for sure. But State Representative Orgeron, we'll let you get back to real life, man.
I can't wait, man.
We got local news, traffic, weather, Foodie Fridays next. Thank you so much for stopping in.
Well, you hit me. Like I said, I came in. My wife also had a dinner appointment that she couldn't make, so they lined it up for Thursday night. So we went to 2 separate dinners, and we got some furniture we needed to move. So we said we'll make it done, and then you text, "Hey, can you do Friday morning?" And I was like,
Worked out well.
I can't deny you whenever you're making fate come together like that. So.
Well, let me know about Restore and Retreat.
Yeah.
Plugging that every time y'all are out there.
Well, we're gonna Miss Polly this morning. She said, "Send another email. Shift it from Saturday to Sunday." I said, "All right."
Sunday's gonna be just as bad.
Well, she's thinking it'll be a little bit less, and then she has a backup plan, which is take delivery of all the roseau-cane in the burlap sacks, and then just put them. We have in our trailer. We have for like trash pickups. We have like 50 5-gallon buckets all stacked up, and we would take the 5-gallon buckets and put them on the levee. And put all the roseaux in there do it next week, so they would stay moist and stuff like that. So that's the other thing.
Okay.
So she has a backup plan, so we'll see if it works.
Love that.
Hey, that's her deal. I'm just the talent.
Just along for the ride, huh?
Right.
I let the ladies do all the planning and stuff. Where does Kevin Ford do his?
Right here.
Okay. So he was in here. I was watching, seeing this.
So yeah, he actually sits in the chair you were in and pulls my mic over.
Right.
So, but yeah,
watching him this morning.
Yeah, he does a show from here. He's a hot mess. I love him. So believe it or not, when it comes time for hurricanes, he's my co-host.
Really?
I call on Kevin for who better to talk to than somebody who's in the Gulf half his life.
Yeah.
Right.
It's like we'll get all our meteorologists on and everything. But I want to talk to the guy who's going to have me, the parish president from south of Foodie, the mayor of Grand Isle. I want those numbers on my speed dial.
Yeah, you're right. All right, Brian. Anytime.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Come on in. Let's get rolling. We got y'all on these two here. This is our little let me snap a picture of this before we.
Yes.
Well,
And
if
then
you're
we'll
putting a picture online, fix it up a little.
Did you want to grab a picture of us?
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah, there you go.
During the bit.
Yeah, well, I'm gonna take some pictures of
Sweet.
while y'all are on the air. Yeah,
Sweet.
and then I'll give one.
Take the
big one.
fortune fish hat off.
Hey man, I think chefs can get away with a lot. And I'm Ryan, by the way, Hernandez.
Hi, nice to meet you. I feel like I've met you.
I've done one other bit about a year ago. With
Yes,
y'all.
yes.
Yeah,
So
with Daniel.
you did some. Okay,
Mhm.
I was like, gosh, why do you look overly familiar?
Yeah.
And then I used to work at the zoo.
Okay.
And I wasn't on the foundation side. I was on the Brett side.
Yeah.
But you worked with Sarah and Rhonda.
Yeah.
And so y'all would always be the presenting sponsor of Brew.
Brew the Zoo and Roar. Yeah.
Yeah.
Roar and Pork. Yeah.
More and more. Now they're combining the two. Did you hear that? It's going to
It's
be
quite
one
a
big
job
massive
change.
event.
Yeah.
From the zoo to the radio.
I think that's a
Yeah.
smart idea.
Well, she's background in radio before that, so
Yeah, I'm in a radio.
I think the real change for her was from the radio to the zoo. So.
Yeah, well,
Although
like-
her last radio stint was a morning zoo, so.
when I had to pivot my career marketing and comms, that was different. I kind of taught myself because I didn't do PR in college. I did broadcasting, you
Mhm.
know.
So this is a part of like a Foodie Friday.
Yes.
Okay.
That's the Beef Industry Council is the sponsor, so we'll talk about the proper way to make a burger, proper way to make a steak, and then dive into what y'all are doing for Father's Day.
Okay. So Chef, you'll
It's the old kitchen table right there.
yeah. So you'll pretty much own most of it. I'll just kind of chime in with some fun marketing stuff too.
No, he'll own most of it. And I'll just answer some
Oh no,
questions.
it's all on y'all.
It's not my first rodeo with you. It's like my fifth
No.
rodeo with you.
It's where were you before this?
I've done this with you from Rafino, Solu, just
Smells
a generic
good.
MRE.
That's right. Where you were
Possibly Jubin's too. And
anywhere Peter's at, basically.
was.
Was.
I wasn't with Rafino's. He wasn't there when I was there. He was gone already.
Okay.
But the MRI, the
It's
Solu
been
and all that
fun.
was.
Yeah, Rafino's hit was a long time ago.
Yeah,
I
like
haven't
17,
Yeah.
16, I think he was
Yeah, I had
gone.
just taken over the show.
'Cause I wasn't there till 17, so I think he was gone into 16 maybe.
Okay. Seven.
You're on.
No, I'm not. I'm on 2. 7:39 Talk 107 8:39 Talk 107.3 FM WBRP. Almost built on another hour of the show. Mornings with Brian Haldane rolling right along. We're getting to Foodie Friday in a quick second, but I got to remind you about One Bath and Closets. OneBathAndClosets.com. Spell it out for the website, ONE. OneBathAndClosets.com, or skip the website and give David Duvall a call at 400-8005. 400-8005. Don't need to give you the area code because you know it's local. Yeah, he's 225. He's right here in Baton Rouge with more than 30 years of experience in the business. I love telling you about the experience that my wife and I had with David and his crew. We decided last year that our house was built in 64. Our bathroom needed an update. So we called David and said, what can you do? He came on out, walked us through the process, showed us what it would look like with some possibilities, which, by the way, the galleries that they have of pictures to look at OneBathAndClosets.com, you could scroll forever. It's fantastic. We collaborated a little bit, came up with a plan, and he executed that plan to perfection. Check him out at OneBathAndClosets.com. All right, it is time for Foodie Friday. Welcoming in from Bally's and from the Queen, we've got Chef Frederick Terline and Ryan Hernandez. Fellas, welcome back. How are you?
Great. Thanks for having us here.
No, glad to have you all on. Glad to be talking beef. And also, Ryan, glad to be talking a little Father's Day as well. As I understand, both properties doing something special. So before we get to the chef here and help us out on the grill, why don't you give us the lowdown on what's to be coming?
Sure. No, nothing. We have a really fun summer planned, including specials for Father's Day. Chef's going to do a really great job, as he always does. At the Queen and Bally's, we are owned by the same parent company, Bally's. And if you play at one, you're earning points of status at the other. So we have gift giveaways at both properties, fun concerts, obviously all the games that you can think of.
Sure.
It's really a good time to escape the summer heat and come and cool off and come play with us.
What's coming up for Father's Day?
So for Father's Day, we have some specials both at Bally's and at the Queen. And Chef, you want to tell us about the specials there?
Yeah,
Let's get you right up. Let me move this around so it's up your height. There you go.
appreciate you.
Yeah.
At Bally's, where I'm at, we're gonna do. For me, like summertime, I always think of grilling and cooking outside. I mean, we're in an indoor kitchen, but nevertheless, that kind of is what the inspiration was for the food or the special that we're gonna run. We're gonna do a rack of ribs. It's gonna have traditional sides, baked beans, potato salad, and some vegetables. And down at the Queen, you get a ribeye, loaded mashed potatoes, and you also get a draft beer with them too. So it's a good value either way, whichever one you go to. So whether you want the drink or not, it's come see us at the Queen or Bally's.
When we talk about a rack of ribs, what are we talking about? Just baby backs, or are we
Baby
going
backs.
something? Okay.
I didn't want to say too much on the beef show, but
No. Well, so we're gonna get to the proper way to prepare a ribeye in just a little bit. But I would be remiss if we didn't, throw out a couple grilling tips when it comes to baby back ribs. I mean, we go what are we looking at? Kind of low and slow to bring it around for over a certain period of time, or
for that little small amount of, it's a good payoff, the little bit of meat you do get, but for that little meat right there, it's kind of in a spot where it's working a fair amount on the animal. So low and slow, you're going to let those proteins kind of break down and tenderize everything. And yeah, you don't want to really just hot sear those and go straight to chomping down, or you're going to have a little tough experience.
very, very much so. Give me a time and a temp. What's the average time it would take for the rack of ribs, and what kind of temperature are we looking to bring them to?
I think it depends too if you're doing like a smoke or versus just like low heat on your grill. I'd say somewhere around, I don't know, 225-ish, couple hours, 3 hours, something like that. You should be pretty good for nice and tender.
Chef Frederick Turline's in with us from Bally's, talking a little bit about the prep work going in. And yeah, a lot of dads fire up their own grill on Father's Day. If you don't want to sweat it out all day long on Father's Day, they've got you covered at both Bally's and the Queen. Let's move over to the Queen, where they're going to have the ribeye. Now this is where I like to have fun, because I'm kind of I fancy myself a steak snob. So I love a good steak over the grill. I love a good steak out the pan or on the griddle. Either way, if I'm firing at the Blackstone or the grill, either way, right, I can get it going. So tell me a little bit about steak prep and steak cooking.
For sure, I think you want to take it out at 30 minutes ish before you're going to put it on the grill. Let it come to room temperature, so the inside's not just icy cold, or the outside too isn't just icy cold. You'll get a more consistent cook all the way through, a nice cuisson all the way through. Well, perfect little line of red all the way through, instead of just having it fade from different shades of gray. Of course, salt. To me, I salt it before it goes on the grill, like 15 minutes.
Mm-hmm.
I don't really like to put pepper on a steak before it goes on the heat, because black pepper has a tendency to burn if the heat's too high. I mean, on a great grill, you're not going to have quite the same amount of like hard contact as a pan, so it's a little more forgiving. But nevertheless, like I said, like black pepper has a tendency to like burn it. You can have that bitter flavor. So I like to crack it right over the top as it comes off, or once you do your last flip, and hit it right over the top, and then take it off. You want to let it rest for sure too. At 10 minutes of resting is always a good thing for the steak. Let the juices kind of settle, instead of cutting straight into it and everything just pours out on the plate. Like, personally, I think that's kind of sloppy and doesn't look very nice. You cut open the meat and it's just bleeding all over the plate. Let it kind of chill out, come down, get to room temperature, let all those juices stay in there. It'll be a better eating experience.
As torturous as it is to have to smell it the whole time,
yeah,
you gotta let it play.
I guess it's a little easier when you're used to cooking it and sending it out the kitchen.
Right, exactly. You don't have to stand by it anymore,
right.
But it's also it's going to somebody else. By the way, speaking of torturous, I'm smelling this burger and it's amazing. Brought a burger in with us to try out today. Tell me a little bit about this burger and where it's available at Bally's and the Queen.
So it's going to be available at our hotel restaurant, The Terrace, over at Bally's, and 1717 over at the Queen. I just made you a nice cheeseburger, Mr. Brian.
Very, very. Yeah, it's
USDA choice. USDA choice. That's a chuck short rib brisket blend for the patty that we use over at Bally's. I like that. For me, it's always either that specific blend or just straight chuck. I mean, I'm a big lover of just ground chuck. I'm not going to lie. It's great for burgers. So I think it's great that it's kind of the star or the main grind in the mix. And then, other than that, like I said, just a little classic cheeseburger, cheddar cheese, yellow, just like we do here in Louisiana, right?
Yes,
yellow
absolutely.
Cheddar, onions, pickles, sweet bread and butter pickles, a little slice of tomato, and a grilled bun.
Love a bread and butter pickle, absolutely. Seasoning when you're making your burger, do you season the burger the same way you do the steak?
Absolutely. I think salt, honestly, to me, salt is like the greatest thing ever, because it really lets the products stand out. It's a flavor enhancer,
right?
Like, it's gonna draw the moisture out. Like, that's why I said you season it a little before it goes on the grill. It's gonna pull out some of the moisture that's in the meat, whether it's ground beef or steak or chicken, ribs. It doesn't matter. It's gonna pull that out and like concentrate the flavor, because that's all the cooking is you're getting rid of the moisture that's in the meat and like trying to really just caramelize and Maillard reaction and all that good stuff to concentrate the flavor. So like I said, to me, salt and then a little crack of pepper right at the very end, so you get like that nice spicy brightness of the pepper, instead of like kind of that, it can be like a little bit of a bitter, almost charry flavor from overdone pepper.
This is, of course, Foodie Friday, presented by the Louisiana Beef Industry Council. You can learn more about what they do at beefitswhatsfordinner.com. That's the website, beefitswhatsfordinner.com. You can learn about the health benefits of beef, the protein, the iron, the 10 vitamins and nutrients that you're going to get, or you can get some tips like we give out right here. We've got Chef Frederick Turline and Ryan Hernandez from Bally's and the Queen in with us, getting us ready for the summertime, getting us ready for Father's Day. I want to go back to when you talk about just the salt and pepper, right? Just the salt and pepper. All too often you roll up in the grocery store and somebody's got their greatest new concoction of, this is my hamburger seasoning mix. And all too often, every one of those is going to have some level of sugars in it. And you talk about the pepper having a little burn when you throw it on. Man, sugar can mess up beef in a hurry.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, I think I mean, if you're making your own
Mhm.
like seasoning like that, that's one thing. Like you should kind of be cognizant of like the different spices that you are putting in there, because paprika is another one that has a propensity to like kind of get a scorchy flavor to it.
Yeah.
So it's really one you want to finish with. So just kind of think about the like the components that are going into what you're making, because there's nothing like inherently wrong with using one of those. Just like I said, for me, it's like after so many like, years in the kitchen and trying to refine my craft, it's like you come across certain little things that really kind of separate, I guess, a professional kitchen from your home kitchen. And that's kind of one of them, is like the attention to detail of the seasonings that you're even using in your blend. Like what has a higher tendency to scorch, burn? Do they marry well together?
Yeah, they
Like, what do you
contradict
need to add?
themselves. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, you can always overdo it for sure. Oh, I'm looking at the clock. Okay, on air, we got your money down. We got to check traffic. Over on Facebook Live, stick around. We're doing our
Can I
taste
mention
test.
one more thing.
Yes, quick.
Come see us for crabs and crawfish at Bally's and the Queen.
We're right back on
So
Talk
good.
107.3. Crabs and crawfishes win.
Thursdays and Tuesdays for me.
Okay.
And what is it? I
Sorry,
think
beef, everybody.
No.
Friday
We're
at the
good.
Queen, right?
What's that?
Friday at the Queen.
Friday is crawfish there, right?
No.
I'm
I'm not sure what it is down there. I just know it is for us.
Yeah.
Y'all have a buffet at either location, correct?
Mm-mm.
So neither location has a buffet.
No.
Okay.
Casinos are really doing away with buffets.
Thank God.
I
Yeah,
know.
it's
No,
not phasing out.
Yeah.
They're people movers, labor intensive, a lot of waste.
There's a
Right.
And then after COVID, just
Right.
Well, yeah, it's not just a waste. It's I don't know how to say it without being a snob, but it's when you have something you can offer that's of a higher level,
Mm-hmm.
why would you have a hog trough?
Right. Yeah,
Because I know my customers and they want a hog trough,
they really
Well,
do.
even if they're rich.
Yeah, well, move from the machines to the tables. Like I said, I don't know how to say that without sounding like an utter fucking snob,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
but
Ain't nothing wrong with that.
no, I know. You gotta appeal to the masses, right?
I might have come off a little pretentious with the whole pepper wrap.
I don't
Never
think so.
know.
No. I don't think so because it's an important part of the process, and every one of the mixed seasonings they have, every one of them overdoes it. There's 40 ingredients that there needs to be 3.
Mm-hmm.
Bread, butter, pickle, awesome.
Oh yeah, they have bubbies.
Mm.
That's what they are.
Little
That's
Jewish
the brand.
pickles? Yeah.
My wife buys that shit.
Mm-hmm.
Got a big jug at the house.
Oh
right
my
now.
God.
I usually like hot pickles, but I'll eat those sweet ones. I like those.
Big Bubby.
This is the insurance commissioner, Tim Temple.
Yeah, she can't wait for the day when that's what she's called.
Mm-hmm. Exactly.
If you have problems with the company, agent or adjuster, maybe you want to talk about your company.
I'm just gonna stay pops, even for the grandkids. I'll still be just pops.
Mm-hmm.
That's fantastic.
Thank you, sir.
That is unbelievable. 'Cause simplicity is everything, especially specifically with beef. With
Mhm.
chicken, with pork, you can get fancier with what you're throwing in, but beef, you just let the flavor run the day.
That's it.
Mm-hmm.
It's that beefy flavor. That's why I like Chuck so much.
I also didn't talk about like fat mix on like you do like
The
a,
80-20.
or
Yeah.
75-25. Where are y'all at?
For that, it's probably closer to 80-20.
Okay.
definitely cut me out of that whole thing.
I know, right?
Believe it or
It's
not,
like
old school
99.
sausage
Yeah,
is
yeah.
closer to 60-40.
Yeah.
I'm as emotional.
Like OG sausage, like 1,000 years, 2,000 year ago sausage,
So I
Roman
said no
sausage.
pickles.
Biting
Yeah.
into it,
We were
let
like
it
live
just
there,
drip off you.
Yeah, we were live.
Oh,
we
wow.
were on the air, and when we're not on the air, we're still on Facebook. So our Facebook audience can hear y'all right now.
Nice. Shout out to your followers.
I know. That's why when Brian's like, sometimes she's like, "Cut me off. We gotta talk about."
That's right.
Yeah. And then they'll be like, "Why is he silent?" Because.
Mm-hmm.
So glad you said that. 'Cause it's usually very profanity laced when you're speaking.
Oh my goodness.
Well, we can say shit on Facebook. We can't say shit on
Yeah.
there.
Yeah. The FCC has no domain over Facebook.
But get this,
So-
you can say ass on the radio.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
So like when Post Malone and Jelly had their big ass stadium, I'm like, big ass stadium.
What's crazy? You can say ass, but you can't say asshole.
Interesting.
Isn't that crazy?
I guess
Mhm.
ass could be donkey.
I think
Correct.
well, no,
Perhaps
but
you're referring
how
to
we
that.
say it, don't be acting the ass. So I mean, He'll be acting a donkey.
Well, that was a pain in the ass. I canceled. So
Right.
that's my one-liner.
At Bally's, I tried y'all. Y'all have a really good flatbread.
Yeah, the pizza's awesome.
At the probably some of the best I've had in a long time.
I agree. I think the pizza's amazing there.
When we do the pizza, y'all have lay flatbreads.
Well, not everybody, chef.
Yeah, y'all have the regular pizza, right?
Yeah, yeah.
Like if you want to.
So the Queen actually has the. Well, we used to have.
Oh,
The
yeah, that's
flatbreads.
right. They did go
Yeah.
get pizza. That's
Yeah,
right.
That's right. Yeah. So they have the pizzas in
We
the
have
calzone.
great pizza.
That's it.
And they're awesome. Yeah, that's like my when I'm a runaway train on weekend. That's what I'm going for.
Don't y'all have the sushi at one of them?
The Queen has an Asian concept. I'm not sure if they do sushi there.
That's
Three
what
woks.
I'm thinking of. Okay. I haven't gone to the. I need to go to the community. I'm gonna go. I love y'all sports.
Come
area.
on over. Yeah.
I know. I'll sit there and I'll keep up with the game.
Yeah. Sean Wart's this weekend. That's always good. That's tomorrow. He's the violinist.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, he's.
And he plays.
Oh, the Sean Ward Experience.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's sick.
What?
I was gonna mention that. Yeah.
No, yeah.
Clue me in on that.
Yes, absolutely. Because when he does live after 5, I always make sure I'm emceeing that week.
He's sick. 9 o'clock at the Queen. That's tomorrow.
Oh, tomorrow.
Yeah. So, wait, why at something tonight? Wait, why?
Texas Club, but they always have it.
That's funny.
I'm working it because Texas Club's been doing a Peachtree Entertainment, so they're trying to get more of these people that are big on social. I'm like, they could be big and say Massachusetts.
Yeah.
Why would our people get you know? And so, and Wyatt Putman's at Texas, never heard of them.
Correct. Yeah.
Never heard of them. But I'm working that, but I may have to slip up. But you said tomorrow.
It is tomorrow. Yeah.
Queen?
Yeah.
Queen? Oh,
Let us know. We'll put you on the list.
Put me down +1.
Yeah.
Because I'll probably try to make it tomorrow. Brian,
This-
you going? You want to go see Sean?
Don't know yet, but I'll text Robin if I am. 756 Talk 107.3 FM W 856. Why do I keep doing that? You know why? Because my laptop's over here and I'm looking at the wrong time zone. So it's 7:56 in Colorado.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, 8:56 Talk 107.3 FM WBRP mornings with Brian Haldane rolling right along. About to wrap up. We got Foodie Friday going on right now. Got the chance to dig in on what is absolute perfection of a burger from Chef Frederick Terline from Bally's. Okay, let's talk about. We were talking about it during the break a little bit. The perfection in the burger is the simplicity in the burger. Is that not trying to overdo it? So tell me a little bit about when you're prepping to keep. You got a nice little pink still in the middle here. When you're making the burger, making sure you taste that flame a little bit, but you don't want it smoked out. And at the same time, the simplicity of just making sure that the beef rules the day.
Yeah, Mother Nature's the artist. You just don't want to mess it up. Simple ingredients, as long as they're really good quality. Simple ingredients, simple seasoning. You let the star of the show be the star of the show instead of trying to mask something.
We were talking about the ground meat. What makes up y'all? We'll go with short rib and brisket. But you said nothing wrong with ground chuck. A lot of flavor and fat, and yet for some reason we tend to want to get away from that. Does it depend on the quality of cut going into the ground, or is it just across the board? Is there a rule?
I mean, I guess that I'm not sure I'm assuming you don't mean the quality of the cut as far as like select versus choice. Or
No, I mean
prime.
like brisket and chuck brisket and rib versus chuck, or if anybody's
Yeah, I
giving
mean, I guess for me, like the way I try and see it is like kind of look at its purpose, like the foundation of the actual dish, what it was designed for. Ground beef, that's what it is. Like you're taking those scrap cuts and trying to pulverize it, basically chop it up real fine into something that's going to be a lot easier to be palatable versus having to just stew a chuck roast for hours. You can grind it up and turn it into a patty, because a lot of those muscles that work really hard, that's the ones that have the beefy flavor,
right?
That concentrated flavor. But a lot of people, you don't want to deal with having to cook it for a long time to get it tender and break down all that connective tissue that's in there. So the grind is going to be your best vessel to where you can enjoy like that beefy flavor, rich flavor from some of those quote tougher cuts, because everything's already broken down before you're cooking it. So it's just a nice alternative method to be able to enjoy a good cut of beef without the long cook time.
We got less than a minute to go. I want to make sure that everybody knows what's going on at Bally's and the Queen as well. Ryan, you were telling me Sean Ward's coming up.
That's right. This weekend. So we always have DJs on the floors at both properties. And tomorrow, Sean Ward's going to be there with his violin and doing a duel versus the DJ. And that's always a great event. There's still tickets
If you've
available.
never seen, so Sean Ward is one of those ones when he plays live after 5, I will fist fight people to get them to see it to make sure I'm there.
That's right.
It's one. Don't think violin is like some kind of traditional violin show. This is it is R&B at its finest, believe it or not.
It's a great time. It's a great vibe. And after you eat those burgers and those ribeyes, you're going to need to work it off somehow.
Absolutely.
No better way to do so.
Absolutely. Chef Frederick Terline, Ryan Hernandez, thank y'all so much. Don't forget, y'all, Father's Day at Bally's and the Queen. You'll want to go check them out. Of the review that I was giving on the perfection that is the burger, the simplicity, not just in the prep of the beef and the cooking of the beef, but the traditional toppings are traditional toppings for a reason. Yes. The pairing of the lettuce, onion, tomato, and the bread and butter pickles was so good. Why are bread and butter pickles so much better than dill pickles?
I think that's just the Louisiana side / South thing, honestly. I mean, it depends on the application for me. Like, I like bread and butter pickles because they're nice and sweet, you know, and that's what my grandma always used to use. But at the same time, like a kosher dill for me is great as well because like you really get kind of that acidic bite to kind of cut through the fat and richness of something.
Yeah,
you know, whereas this is more complimentary and making it a little more like on that luxurious end because it's, you know, got that sweetness that's already adding to the caramelization in the meat. You know, like I said, the dill pickle, it'll really just like help cut through the fat and richness.
Yeah. Okay. That's fair. I just flavor profile wise, it's just, it's stark in comparison.
Sweet's always going to accentuate the beef.
Yeah.
The dill is going to be that contrast, that hard contrast, you know, like chocolate covered bacon, you know,
which is no.
Absolutely not gross.
No, you give me a bacon chocolate chip cookie.
Yeah, it is nowhere near gross.
Yeah, it's amazing.
It's salty and sweet. It's like eating trail mix.
Yeah.
Okay.
Like salty nuts, M&M's.
Bacon and chocolate. I mean, come on.
It's a similar.
Two of the best things, and you put them together.
Yeah.
Right.
Superpower.
Well, guys, thank y'all so much for coming in today. Facebook, thank y'all for sticking around. We'll be back at it on Monday. We'll see you then.